Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi out here, Friday morning, Friday freak out. And there's a few things I'm freaking out about today, but the main one first is Dr. Pascal Siakam. That's right. You can call him Dr. Siakam. We had Dr. Nurse before and Dr. Griffin. We've had different doctors. Well, we have Dr. Siakam now. In some ways, I like Siakam graduating from university in September. It's much better than Vince Carter trying to graduate on a game 7 day. Yeah, that's how you do it, Vince. You don't even go and take classes. You get a degree from a Canadian university, honorary doctorate. It's a doctorate too. I don't know what level you got at UNC. That's how you do it, man. No, you become a great person. You do things like that, and you get it somewhere. I don't know, but Siakam's got it. To miss a playoff game to go get it, which is awesome. Yeah, Siakam getting a doctorate because of his foundation, his philanthropy, and different things that he's done to, you know what it really is? Pascal is dedicated to STEM, and that is increasing the education for kids that don't get as many chances. It's putting computers in the hands of kids that are underprivileged and do not have access to these kind of things. And in some ways, that is amazing because it's like, look, Siakam's given chances that wouldn't have got chances otherwise. And, he's using his wealth and his stature and his presence for very, very good cause. So now you're a doctorate of, I don't know, education. You should be a doctorate of education because you're helping to educate the young people, especially young immigrant people also who are coming to Canada. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's Dr. Siakam to you. Dr. Siakam, baby. That sounds cool, man. That's like a cool name, Dr. Siakam. Hello. Yes, it's Dr. Siakam. He's here to see you. I love it. I love it, Dr. Siakam. Yes, another Groat has done another Groat thing. And we love our Groats. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, let's look at these finals MVP, Batman and Robin of 2019, Mr. Leonard, Mr. Siakam. One's getting an honorary doctorate from a college in Canada, a university in Canada. And meanwhile, Kawhi Leonard is being investigated by the NBA. And now he may have crumbled that franchise to the ground. These are different poles of dichotomy. These are different levels of going in different directions. And you know what? Leonard, you could learn a lot from your old Raptors teammates like Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, and Pascal Siakam. Yeah, you could learn a lot from those guys. You could learn a lot from them, trust me. Yeah, there's an article out this morning by a writer for the Clippers, and Doug Smith has shared it on Blue Skies, and she's basically said this. This is Mirjam Swanson. The Kawhi era was already disappointing. Now, a bombshell report alleging the Clippers might have circumvented the salary cap has us wondering if it's worse than that. On this mess, and just how I don't think Kawhi has been worth the headaches. That man wasn't worth as soon as he started DMPing, sitting on y'all's bench. The promise, the sad false promise, the fakeness of it. Yeah, Clippers never was worth it. In some ways, just like, look, I think that y'all might need to do the Costanza thing where George on Seinfeld had the impulse to do something and he decided to do the opposite and his life was better. That might be what y'all need to do in LA land with the Clippers, is because y'all's instincts and everything y'all have done pretty much since y'all have been a franchise has been the wrong move, the wrong thing, the wrong this, the wrong that. Whatever you're going to do the opposite from now on. Costanza rules, because seriously, y'all are messing up all over the place. You think you're doing something amazing and big, luring Kawhi Leonard and his uncle Dennis to you, and boy, ugh, there's more allegations coming out from Spurs land that Uncle Dennis has been toxic and doing all kinds of moving and shaking behind the scenes in toxic ways for Kawhi since he was in San Antonio. That this has been par for the course the whole entire time. That Dennis is a meddler. Dennis is interjecting. Dennis is in the middle of things. Dennis has dubious connections and different things, and he wants different things for his nephew, Kawhi. Well, there's a Spurs executive that's coming out clean about just how much of a headache and a pain in the ass he was, and just how much he is involved in this whole thing. Yeah, he said that this kind of stuff around Dennis, Uncle Dennis, has always been present like this, and that this is the action. It's like a shakedown. It's like my nephew Kawhi is so good. I'm going to utilize his talent and his ability on the basketball court to shake you down. That's what Uncle Dennis does, man. He's going to shake you down for extra unsanctioned under the circumvent the salary cap 28 million. They're saying it's actually 48 million. Man, this is crazy. This is crazy shit, man. It's crazy shit. I'm freaking out also about the news yesterday that the Raptors 905 and Luke Wynn have traded the rights to Evan Gilliard II. Like, what the hell is that? What the hell is that, Luke Wynn? Like, what the fuck, man? Seriously. Like, why'd you do this? Like, the fans up in Calgary love Evan Gilliard II. Like, he's big on the CBL right now. Now you guys are trading his rights for Jarkel Joyner and a first-round pick. Why? Why? Evan Gilliard's a baller. We needed him on 905 this year. I guess maybe you want to make room for Elijah Martin, Chucky Hepburn, just in case Evan Gilliard's coming in. Nah, we trade him to Memphis Hustle. Why? Luke Wynn, what the fuck are you thinking, man? Like, why did you trade Evan Gilliard after an amazing finals run with the Calgary Surge and the Canadian Basketball League, and everybody's paying attention to him? He's on the rise. He's growing. He's getting better. Why? Why did you trade him to Memphis yesterday? Luke Wynn, I'm asking you, Raptors 905 GM, why the fuck did you trade Evan Gilliard II yesterday? Seriously, no, for no reason. Oh, you want the extra first-round pick and then the G League draft? No. I mean, all right. If it's because Evan wanted to leave because he requested on the down low, he said, guys, look, I can see with the Raptors, you got Emmanuel Quickly, you got Jamal Shedd, you got Elijah Martin, you got Chucky Hepburn, you got all these guys. I have no path to get on the big club with the Raptors because I can see that y'all are good at point guard. And in some ways, I mean, look, he's undersized for a point guard anyway. He's probably not an NBA point guard. And in some ways, we don't really need him on 905. So maybe that's what Luke Wynn's thinking. He is high value, so he wants to get a pick for him. And that's why he did it. Okay. It could very well be that Evan did want to leave. Could be very well that the Raptors 905 really visualized that they don't need him anymore. So it's weird. It sucks. I mean, there is probably a better path for Evan Gilliard II to go through the Memphis organization to get to play NBA games. I won't. I'll look at the scenarios and I'll look at him and I'll be like, you know what? He probably does have a better chance of getting called up to the big show and playing for the Memphis Grizzlies from the Memphis Hustle than the 905 to the Raptors. So for a professional thing for Evan Gilliard II, this is good for him. I'm sad to see it happen. I know that Mo and I are huge fans of Evan, and seeing Evan Gilliard get traded yesterday, we were both shocked. My jaw dropped when I saw it. I was like, what? No, man. Why they trade Evan Gilliard? Evan Gilliard to Memphis Hustle? What the fuck is this? Is what I was saying yesterday. I mean, it didn't make no sense at that time. It didn't make no sense, you know. We freaking out today. We're Friday freaking out on Dr. Siakam. That's right, Dr. Siakam to you, motherfucker. That's right. Hello, sir. Hello, Pascal. No. It's Dr. Siakam to you now. Dr. Siakam. Yes, I want to say that over and over again. And fuck you, Ed Rogers III. That's right. I want to say that too. That's right. All right, let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. We'll get into all the fun stuff. We got cut short yesterday. The internet went out in the thunderstorm yesterday. It was weird. So we got 2 classic cards to do today. And all the other fun stuff that we do on the channel. The Instagram stories didn't get done yesterday either. Oh, my gosh, Lex. Yikes. Trevor J's first. And he's saying his words of wisdom. The tongue is the most powerful thing. Do not use it for curses. Use it for speaking life into someone today. Yeah, I mean, I really talk a lot on this channel. And sometimes I talk a lot of open opinions that, can be negative or positive. A lot of times I have positive attitudes. Sometimes I do have a negative attitude. I had to balance that. So I'm trying to use my tongue as a weapon in a good way, Trevor. but I'm not always perfect. I know that. I know that indeed. But that's the thing, man. At least I'm recognizing that I'm not a perfect person and that I make mistakes. The arrogant one is the one who doesn't think they make mistakes and they're just perfect and there's nothing wrong with what they're doing, and they get other people to kowtow them and say, "Yes, you are right. You're so perfect," even though they're very wrong and they are not perfect. So yeah, it's good to be honest with yourself and do an assessment and say, am I being a good person? Am I being right in this situation? And if you're not, and you feel like you're not, you know what? You make adjustments and you change. That's what you do. Thank you for the words of wisdom, Commissioner Jones, and all the things that you do for this channel. He's saying, well, Adam Silver disciplined his boss. Let's see how that goes. The story is going more crazy. Yeah, I don't understand this totally, what you're saying. Are you talking about Steve Ballmer? Are you talking about Kawhi Leonard? Are you talking about the situation with the Clippers? I'll just think that that's what you mean. Kaz is saying, good morning, Lex and Rapid Freak crew. Good morning to you, Trucker Kaz. Hey, go easy, man. Seriously, go easy, bro. This guy, he is like, man, I'm this has not been fair. He's almost got a 200-point lead on me now, guys. It's crazy. Checking in on the WNBA Fantasy Championship week, and the championship final is between myself and Trucker Kaz. I got to the finals of the championship, but I'm gonna be too short to get there. Seriously, because it's 592.1 to 414.7. This guy has got a monster team. He's just been running roughshod over this whole league this whole year. And well, it looks like he's on his way to getting a WNBA championship as a fantasy owner. So good job, Kaz. I don't know, man. I don't know how I'm going to make up 180 points at this point, because this is crazy. This is crazy. That's a lot. That's a lot. Now, in the other matchup for third place, it's close. It's 329 to 345. And that's about a 15-point lead for Kareem over Meredith right now. So that would be a big win if Kareem Thomas could beat the two-time champion Meredith in the third place game. Meredith wants to save face and at least get that third place trophy. So he has 2 golds and a bronze. You know what I'm saying? Other matchups, Cool Cats got her matchup in control with Logical Raptors Fanatic for 5th. And Fiercey has got that 7th spot locked down for sure, 271 to 94 over Logical. And then, yeah, the consolation bracket, James is winning this week in some ways. Yeah, check your WNBA fantasy teams. The season's going to be over in about a week. And we will be on playoffs for WNBA. And we'll have to start considering our fantasy NBA season coming up. That's right. Games tonight, ref report. Los Angeles at Atlanta, Kevin Fahey, Marcy Williams, Kelsey Reynolds. Chicago at Indiana, the referees will be Eric Bruton, Jeff Wooten, and Tony Patillo. And New York at Seattle, Michael Price, Ryan Sassano, and Blanca Burns will be the referees in the WNBA action tonight. 3 games in action. So get your lineup set. Do what you got to do to be ready. That's right. Cool Cat saying good morning, Rapid Free Crew. Good morning to you, Coach. TGIF. Let's have a great weekend. It's, still summery, but boy, the signs of fall are coming. The CNE has been around. AJ Lawson appearing on the Hello and Welcome podcast dropped yesterday, talking about going to CNE and trying to shoot baskets to win a prize for his girl. This is funny. And we've heard this story from other players before, that they go down there and they try and do the basketball game, right, at the CNE, because, those games are so rigged. And this is proof. This is proof. AJ went down there and he could not put that basketball through the hoop. He's a professional. This man plays in the NBA from Brampton, and he can't go down to CNE. He said he spent a fortune. Those games are expensive. You get like two or three shots for like $20. And he couldn't sink a single one. You know why? Because that hoop down at CNE is just barely the size of the ball. Yeah, there's not much room for error. Like, I think it just barely fits through it. So you really got to get it dead on, or it's going to bounce around on top of it and won't go in. Because honestly, the hoop is just like this big and the ball is this big. And it just don't fit. So, yeah, I think if you send NBA superstars down to the CNE to play the basketball game to get the prize and they all fail, y'all shit is rigged. That's why I say that. You know what I'm saying? Because if the NBA players can't make those shots through there. We can get Lethal Shooter down to the C&E, please, and see if they, he can do it. Can see Lethal Shooter shoot through your all's rims? Because if he can't do it, then man, something, this is totally rigged, and they're just stealing money down there. Better Business Bureau, get some NBA superstars and go down to C&E, please. Go on down there and test these people and their rims and their balls, because this shit is rigged. I'm telling you right now. If AJ Lawson can't win a C&E prize for his lady, nobody can. Trust me. Nobody can. No, they can't. That's right. That's right. Coquette saying, happy to see Dr. Pascal Siakam being celebrated today in the Raptor Free Crew space. That's right. That's right. This is a bigger deal than I thought. I thought Siakam was just coming through Canada to do his normal PS43's foundation. I'm going to drop off the computers. I'm going to come by and say hi. I'm going to smile real big. I'm going to be like, yeah, hi, guys. Red Bull. Hi. I'm Siakam. I love you. It's going to be like that. They're always like how that is when he comes through in the offseason and it sets the kids up with their future, with their computers, with their equipment. But no, this was a special trip. He was getting an honorary doctorate, and he had the stuff around his shoulders, and it's a big deal. And to him, it's a really big deal because it's an honor in the memory of his father. And this is something his father would be super proud of him for. Seriously. To know that Dr. Pascal Siakam is a thing. Oh my gosh, that's making me cry right now. Seriously. That makes me think about his dad, the old transportation minister of Cameroon, talking about like, yeah, my son, he's a doctor. I could hear him in heaven saying this about Pascal right now. That's beautiful, man. That's a beautiful thing. I know how much Siakam's father means to him. So this is a very, very special thing. This is a very, very special thing. And I'm so proud of Siakam, man. I'm not proud of you, Kawhi, you and Uncle Dennis. You guys aren't the right kind of role model like Pascal Siakam is. That's right. What are you anyway at this point, Kawhi? What the fuck are you at this point? Seriously. And in some ways, I'll say that to Steve Ballmer because it's really his fault too. It's his fault mostly. The greed of Uncle Dennis, the craziness of Steve Ballmer, and well, the passiveness of Kawhi Leonard. These are what these guys are all guilty of. They're all guilty of something. That's right. Seymour saying, big up, Pascal, a true champion. That's right. That's right. Sheriff Seymour Pape checking in from Alberta, guys. Our guy out west is checking in, the sheriff, the city slicker. Good morning to you, sir. That's right. A true champion in life, not just in the NBA with the Raptors in 2019. Not just a guy who got to the finals this year with the Indiana Pacers. No, he's a doctor now. So say it right, Dr. Pascal. That's right. Dr. Pascal to you. That's what I'm going to start saying to people. That's Dr. Pascal to you. People bring up the great Siakam's name. I'm going to say, that's Dr. Pascal. You better get that right. It's Dr. Pascal. You better say it right. That's right. Reggie's here. Good to see you, Smooth Brown Man. More info regarding Leonard. $48 million in total off the books. $6 million. Wow. So, they didn't end up paying him most of that money. Aspiration. They didn't. And, in some ways, like, that's going to get thrown out. There's none of that's going to matter. I don't know. This whole thing, once again, we can cover it. I could do blow-by-blow coverage of this, but I don't want to. Let's just wait till the outcome has come from Adam Silver and the decisions, and, well, we'll react to that then. But every little detail that's coming out is not important for me to cover. In fact, it's so boring to me. If these guys caused fraud, they circumvented the NBA salary cap, they deserve to be punished. That's what I have to say about that. Somebody on Reddit, Raptors Reddit, is talking about how they're sick of ESPN. They're mad at ESPN because they feel like Pablo Torre was doing a really good job as an investigative reporter, and the ESPN people are being snarky, and they're kind of like downplaying it. In fact, you know what they're doing? They're playing the corporate card, y'all. Seriously, if you can see it with the veil lifted now, just how much the mass media, the ABC, ESPN conglomerate protects the status quo, billionaire rich people's property and identity and stuff like that. Well, this is part of it. In some ways, Steve Ballmer is the sixth richest man in the world. And in some ways, he's an oligarch. In some ways, he's a very rich person. Now, he's goofy and he got in trouble for something. We'll see if he's in much trouble, if he gets punished. But ESPN's towing the line. In some ways, Adam Silver could be like, yeah, don't cover this too much. And you know what? Could y'all make fun of this guy who whistleblowed this? Can y'all go on after him a little bit and like make him seem like an idiot or unprofessional or not somebody that's a real journalist? And, that's kind of what ESPN's been doing since the story broke. They're kind of sullying Pablo Torre to try and make his story not so sharp. And they discredit him and they kind of make fun of him and say, "Ooh, he's not a real journalist. He's just a guy on YouTube." Well, this is the thing. That's what I'm saying. You guys got to understand the difference between CNN, ESPN, and Fox News and all that with people like Pablo Torre and myself. And there's going to be a lot more big differences with this, where we're not going to be able to trust ESPN, CNN, or well, I never could trust Fox News. But I'm just saying the mass media is going really bad place because in some ways this shit is happening under our noses. We don't see this change exactly. You need to pay attention though to the way the media portrays stuff, and it's really going to be lying and omitting. It's not going to cover the protests, the huge amount of humanity that gets in the street like they did on Labor Day. Did you see that on mainstream media for the most part? No, you didn't. You saw it on social media when people posted gatherings out in there, but they're not going to put it on the nightly news. They're not going to broadcast that Canadians buying Canadian is actually helping things. They're not going to put all that out because that doesn't serve their bottom line and what they want to try and do as oligarchs, monopolists, and capitalists, and people that are in the status quo in charge. No, they don't want to give any power back to the people. So remember that. And that's why I say get more self-sufficient and get more organized and get out there and don't believe the shit that they're saying. Don't believe the hype, as Public Enemy used to say, because a lot of their hype is manufactured lines that they want to put out for us to ingest. And it's not really the truth. And it's not really the stuff that we need as news anyway. The journalistic integrity of the mainstream media is absolutely shot at this point because in some ways we've got anti-woke people in charge that don't want any woke reporting, and they are directing the narrative and what is allowed to be reported and what's not. That's already happening. That's already happening as a dictatorship in the United States, that the media is compromised and you can't trust it unless you're listening to people who are more grassroots like me at this point. Seriously. ESPN is a garbage network. It's absolutely a garbage network. That's right. That's right. Cool Cat's saying this. He does so much on and off the court for youth via education based on his father's vision. Love that scholarship program at UMB for Cameroon students and computer technology and lots of programs in Toronto. Yeah, and he's started establishing stuff in Indiana also since he's been there in the last 2 years. So it's wherever he goes, man. The guy is being a good dude to the people in the community where he's at. And yeah, of course, Canada's home. He's going to be doing his stuff up here. And yeah, it is a really strong focus on immigrant students, specifically Cameroonian students. But yeah, Chris is the same way. Chris Boucher with his Slim Duck Foundation. He wants his foundation to go towards people that were like him, island kids, kids of that are immigrants coming from places like St. Lucia and other places where Chris comes from. And well, Siakam wants the same thing. And that's awesome. That's awesome. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing for sure. Cool Cat saying Dr. Siakam also did some education initiatives in Indiana also. Canada is still his second home, so I love to see the love and reception. I don't read these comments ahead of time. I guess I just kind of subliminally pick up on the next cue for the next line because I kind of, yeah, that's what I was just saying. That's pretty cool. Kaz is saying, wow, what the fuck? They traded Evan Gilliard? Yeah, I don't, Luke wins. Sometimes I question his decisions. But you know what I think this is? I think that Evan wanted out. Seriously. I think that Evan's on an upswing with his career. He's really gained a lot of momentum since the end of the 905 season with how well he played right at the end into the CBL season and all the other stuff that's going on for him. And in some ways, he wants to really capitalize on this ride that's on his way up. And in some ways, I guess maybe he saw 905 as a dead end. And I mean, I could see that. It could very well be that Evan Gilliard went into Luke Wynn's office and said, I want to be traded. Can you trade me back to the States? Because I want to do certain things down there. Because that could be it. He's very much celebrating getting traded. And he's not really saying goodbye to the Raptors 905 correctly. Let's just put it that way. That's kind of annoying to me. But yeah, Gilliard, you have a lot of Canadian fans. Not just from Raptors 905, but from the Calgary Surge and the CBL. And, well, respectfully come and say thank you to the Canadian fans on your way out because we know you're leaving the country now to go to Memphis, just like the Grizzlies did a long time ago. And, well, you need to you need to show some love to Calgary at least. I don't care if you show love to Mississauga, but you should probably show love to both. Honestly, bro. Because, like, look, I'm going to go to the Instagram. Let's see if it's there now, but it wasn't there before. So, yeah, AJ Lawson appeared on Hello and Welcome podcast recently, and they released the episode yesterday. It was a fantastic episode, and it just made me realize more and more why I love our Toronto Raptors from Toronto, RJ and AJ, because they're real ones. And I love the stories of AJ talking about growing up and being on teams with RJ and being like, when AJ broke his career high earlier this year, last season, RJ was feeding him a lot of the assists. And he was talking about how, yeah, this is something we've been doing since middle school. Is like RJ's always been looking out for me and trying to pass the ball to me since we were, in middle school and in Mississauga and different places in Brampton. And so, yeah, that's pretty cool. AJ Lawson's awesome, man. He really is becoming one of my favorite all-time Raptors because he's the dream, man. He's the dream I wanted to see. The kid from the GTA that made the team and just really honors it and really cherishes it correctly. AJ, you could tell he's just so happy to be on the Raptors. It doesn't matter any other team in the league. He would not want to be on more than the Raptors. And when you have that kind of true passion and love for that team, because that was your team you watched when you grew up, you play harder for that team. I'm telling you guys. And they asked him straight up, who's the greatest Raptor of all time? And this is always a test. And AJ was kind of like, you're going to clip this out. And they're like, yeah, we're going to clip this out. And he's like, I got to be cautious here. So you know what he did? He said DeMar DeRozan. And when he said DeRozan, I knew he had the code. And I was like, man, he gets it. He gets it. In some ways, everybody will pick Lowry. Some people will pick Carter, which is dumb. Some people will pick Kawhi, which is even dumber. And really weird people pick Chris Bosh. But I don't hear that very often. That's like really strange people that could pick Chris Bosh. But when you pick DeMar DeRozan as the greatest Raptor of all time, it tells me something about you that you're a real one. And that's what William Liu and Alex Wong knew in that moment when he said DeMar DeRozan. Oh, and I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, AJ is a real one, man. Then he started talking about trying to be like DeMar and dunking like him. And they asked him, did you ever tell DeMar that he's like one of your favorite players ever? He said, no, I haven't said that to him. I'm too busy guarding him and running up and down the court. I've never said that to him. And, well, if he watches Hello and Welcome, he's going to see it, AJ. He's going to see it. Hopefully DeMar will see that you are a young player that looks up to him. And the thing is that DeMar will get a kick out of that because, the Carter effect's for real, but, the DeRozan and Lowry effect on Toronto is big too. And AJ Lawson is a direct example of the DeRozan effect on our community. If he's citing him as a huge influence of him, the greatest Raptor of all time. I love that so much, man. It just made me realize more and more that AJ Lawson is a real Raptor freak, along with being a real Toronto Raptor on the team. Because that man is a Raptor freak. I'm telling you, he's a positive Raptors fan. Is for his team. Growing up as a kid in this community, well, he just got so good at basketball, he ended up on the Raptors too. And that's amazing, beautiful story right there. We're talking about beautiful stories today. We're talking about Dr. Siakam. We're talking about AJ Lawson playing for his hometown team. That's what we're talking about right here. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Go watch that interview, man. It's so good. AJ's putting in that work at the gym. He's got a lot of work to do still. That's the thing. He knows that. He was, Elijah Martin showed up in Toronto yesterday, and him and AJ were out on the red carpet, Hollywood North, Rogers, Hello Canada, with the red carpet. I don't know if that's part of TIFF or something like that, right? Whatever. There's AJ soaring through the air. AJ was talking about on Hello Welcome the first time he dunked and wanting to dunk and learning how to dunk. And wishing that he could dunk, and then finally learning how to dunk and doing it. And then he knew maybe he could be a good basketball player because he could dunk. That's amazing. I love those kind of stories. I love the real talk from AJ on Hello and Welcome podcast, where he's talking from being a kid in the area from Brampton to transgressing and transforming into being an NBA player, and then finally finding his way to the Raptors. Because like William Liu spelled out in the podcast, the path for AJ has not been direct. He's had some tough times in his NBA career, sticking with teams and getting a spot. And, getting a full-fledged contract with the Raptors was a huge deal because there's a lot of two-way contracts, a lot of G League assignments, a lot of other stuff in his past. So it's really rewarding, not just for AJ himself, but for people like me that want to see more young Canadian guys from around Toronto playing for the Toronto Raptors, because he is that dream realized. He's the embodiment of it. SGA has some butter shoes, and he's got the kids. He's sitting at a table with a leather jacket on. He's designing the shoes. That's what he does, man. This guy's MVP. Oh, he's got his calendar. It's like, oh, there's shoes that are arriving on the second day of October. Shay's got new shoes. Coach Andrew Jones has the kids leaving the house to go to school with the backpacks on in Oakville. So that's right. Ava be going to school, not hooping right now. Eugene Omoruyi is just, I think, permanently relocated to Dubai, because he's still over there, man. He's still over there. I guess he's at the United Emirates or whatever. Yeah, this man's living a charmed life. Once again, I worry about your expenses, Eugene Omoruyi. I worry about your expenses and what you're doing over there. Lloyd has fine art on his Instagram right now. Why not Lloyd? Scotty's good friend from 2K has some fine art put on display. He's into architecture and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Jeremy Lin's been all about the Valkyries, because the Valkyries have the first ever Taiwanese player to play for the WNBA, the Golden State Valkyries. So Jeremy has a special bond with her. And I guess in some ways, Jeremy's showing that he's more Golden State nation than Raptors nation, because a lot of his stuff is all about that. You don't forget, you won the championship with us, motherfucker. All right. But yeah, he's very Golden State, and he's Golden State Valkyries. He's championship. He's cheering for them. Man, you better start cheering for the tempo, Jeremy Lin. That's right. You better start cheering for the tempo next year, buddy. But yeah, he's happy. The Valkyries have clinched a playoff spot in their first year in the team. It's the first expansion team to make the playoffs in their inaugural season, the Golden State Valkyries. You know, what could have been if Ed Rogers III wasn't a piece of shit? Fuck you, Ed Rogers. If we were playing this year, what if we had made the playoffs this year and we're the first WNBA team to make the playoffs in their expansion first year? That's not fair. We were supposed to be playing this year. If Ed Rogers had not said no, we would have been playing this year. But then again, it would have been owned by MLSE, and he's sorry ass. So I'm actually kind of glad we're waiting a year just so we have a team that's not owned by Ed Rogers III. It's much better than this Kilmer Group, honestly. There's Elijah rolling in on the lakeshore, on the highway, looking up at the CN Tower, downtown Toronto, showing up. Elijah's been in Florida, being a Florida boy for a couple of weeks. Now he's back in Toronto, and he's back to go to work. That's right. There he is on the red carpet with AJ. Very, very cool. I don't know who that other guy is. Who is that guy? A hockey guy or something like that? Colin Murray Boyles is soliciting people to come and join his NBA 2K26 clan, or whatever they're doing right now. They're doing these group things or whatever. They're like crew. They're crew. Sorry, not their clan. They're crew. So, yeah, they have crews on 2K, and they want to get more people to come in there. Now, I don't know why your crew has got a Wizards logo, Colin Murray Boyles, but that's not your crew. Is somebody else made that up, right? Okay, because I don't want to see you with a Wizards logo. Why would you want a Wizards logo on your crew anyway? Seriously, bro. South Carolina is not Wizards territory, is it? Seriously, you got to watch out for this. Whoever's handling Colin Murray Boyles, make sure that they know that they shouldn't do some things publicly, like put themselves up as a Wizards or something like that. That's not a good idea, bro. He's saying just join. He's put all the information on the thing. He's desperate. The group is called Pray for Paper, and they only got 18 members out of 50. He just wants more members, y'all. He's open. It's open, and they're focused on the vibe. They're focused on the vibe, and their primary language is English. Okay, so yeah, just join is what he's saying. Just join. Just join him. Luguette Dort still showing off that Larry O'Brien and that trip to Montreal. Man, he's still living in that moment from a couple of weeks ago and all the fun and the craziness of that. He doesn't want to let it go. Some kids were getting their haircut out there too, it looks like. Kids getting their haircut. Sandra Mamu. All right, let's talk about this. Some shit happened yesterday. It's pretty cool. Spain got eliminated from Eurobasket yesterday by Giannis and Greece. And Sandra Mamu and Georgia beating Spain in their first game of the group play in the Eurobasket was huge. Because of that, they are in the tournament, and Spain is out. This is the crazy thing. Juancho and Willie Hernangomez are eliminated from Eurobasket. And this is the team that won Eurobasket last year. They're not even in the 16 to make the tournament. They got eliminated. Two of the 5 teams that got put out in their group D. It's crazy, y'all. It is absolutely crazy that Spain got eliminated. Well, Georgia reaps the benefits because Georgia gets to play again. They're going to be playing France in the first part of their bracket after the group phase. And that game will be on Sunday morning at 8 in the morning. So if you want to watch Georgia with Sandra Mamu and Goga play France and whoever's showing up for them. I don't think Wemby's there. I don't know if Gobert is there either. But yeah, that's a big matchup. France versus Georgia in the Eurobasket 2025 matchup. That's a big one. So yeah, that'll be on Sunday at 8:15 in the morning. I don't know. Should we do a watch along? Maybe we should just do a watch along that morning. Although Georgia watch alongs have not gone well when I've tried to do them. So yeah, it's an interesting tournament. There's a lot of interesting stuff. There was a really nice moment with the Finnish crowd and the crowd in general in the last Germany game, where they came out with red cards that said "Stop racism," and they were really. This was in response to Dennis Schroeder and the incident that happened in the last week. And it was a really moving moment. They came out and they showed solidarity and support against racism, saying stop racism, end racism. And Dennis looked like he was a little touched by the gesture. And, you know, hopefully this is the kind of awareness and more of this kind of activity that can help change attitudes and change the world. So, yeah, good job by the fans showing that, you know what, if there's one racist little shithead over here, we want to show that most of us are not like that person and that we are against racism and we're for equality and we're for people like Dennis Schroeder being able to freely express themselves and saying what they have to say about the issue. So yeah, that was pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome. All right, let me see. Keep going on with the Instagram stories. Yeah, Sandra Mamu and Georgia are in the tournament and they will play France. It's going to be tough, man. They qualify. It's going to be tough right away. They got to play France in a single elimination. If they beat France, that'd be great. But that's the silver medal from last year's Olympics. RJ Barrett had a bittersweet day yesterday. It was his brother's birthday. His brother died, of course, tragically a year and a half ago. And Nathan was remembered yesterday. And even the Raptors remembered Nathan Barrett on his birthday yesterday with RJ. Yeah, it's a sad situation. In some ways, I'm going to put him on the birthday chart just to always remember Nathan. And I want to remember when his day is, and it's September the 4th. Yeah, also, we missed the birthdays yesterday. It was Jacoby Walter's birthday yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to get the birthdays because of the stream getting cut off. So happy belated birthday, Jacoby Walter, who turned 21 yesterday. And also, it was a Raptors legend and street ball legend from New York named Lloyd Daniels' birthday yesterday. Sweet Pea had his birthday yesterday, and he was 58 years old yesterday. Lloyd Daniels, and New York City playground legend, Lloyd Sweet Pea Daniels, had his birthday yesterday also. We got more birthdays later, and we'll talk about them in a sec. Still moving through the Instagram stories. Yeah, there's Evan Gilliard's official saying official traded to Memphis Hustle from the Raptors 905. Excited for this opportunity. All right. Yeah, he's happy about this. But, man, in some ways you need to go and say, hey, appreciate you, Calgary. Although, who knows? Maybe he'll come back and play in CBL next summer for sure. But, yeah, Memphis, you got a good one. And, well, let's see him get further than your guy Yuki. In some ways, I could see Evan showing up on your Grizzlies this year. But, yeah, in some ways it's like, welcome to the city. I got you time to get active now. JCK Sports Group, we on the move. Yes, sir, we tapped. Yeah, Evan is sad. The Memphis Hustle's gain is the Raptors 905's loss. And, well, we're going to have some good point guards regardless of whether you're going to be here. And one of them is Jamal Shed. Jamal Shed is working out with his balance and weight workouts. He's actually kind of described it to us here. He's saying this about the balance. And what is he saying? He's saying, love this press variation, rhythm of the upper and lower half through flex and extension, back, ankle, and toes extension, and dorsal flexion, frontal plane control. So he's really getting the science of balance and muscles and working different muscle groups with different kinds of workouts. Jamal Shed, to be cat-like on his feet, is doing the work right now this offseason. Everything I've seen of Jamal Shed's workouts has been about balance and getting strengthened in his limbs and his joints so that he's very cat-like and very on his toes and just very, very strong and balanced. It's really, really good. That he's got a whole montage of Jacoby for his birthday. There's one of their FaceTime texts where Jacoby's wearing a Maple Leaf jersey and he's yelling and screaming. Of course, is what he's saying there. And then there's like my doggy. There they are dapping each other. You know, the friendship between Jamal and Jacoby is very strong as rookies from last year. And yeah, there they are in the kitchen. And Shed's got his grill in. And Jacoby's got just Supreme jersey on. Happiest of birthdays, brother. From Jamal Shed to Jacoby Walter yesterday. Yeah, those guys are peas in a pod, man. Those two took to each other really. Also, it was Jerace Walker's birthday yesterday. Jamal Shed had to say happy birthday to his former teammate from back at Houston. Done came a long way, brother. Jerace, and there's a picture of him taking shots with Sheddy as they're working out. It looks like at the Miami Hurricanes practice facility. But yeah, Jerace Walker getting some birthday love from Jamal Shed yesterday also. Yeah, there's some funny. This is some other guy's birthday. Everyone getting a post today. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, this guy, he doesn't have many pictures of this other guy. I don't know who he is. I don't think he made the NBA. So yeah, there's more of the workout with these guys and what they're doing right now. Shed taking the rocking the baby to sleep and shooting it over. That's right. Also, he's got some football on here. Left tackle with the left hook, Coach Don Casey. Okay, there's some stuff going on in football. OD. All right. RJ Barrett saying happy birthday to Jacoby Walter yesterday. He wished him a happy birthday. Also, of course, you know, that's interesting. Think about this. Whoa, I wonder if there's a special bond between Jacoby and RJ because Jacoby Walter's birthday is Nathan Barrett's birthday. Like, seriously, that could be holistic and healing for RJ. Is saying, look, man, you got my brother's birthday and my brother ain't here anymore. You're going to be my honorary little brother now. I bet you there's a little bit of that kind of action because I've seen Barrett really does mentor Walter in certain ways and he's kind of looking out for him. That'd be a special thing. Like if in some ways, you know, RJ has a brotherly connection with Jacoby, partly in honor of his past brother. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? There's Jacoby had so many birthday wishes. His sister, especially, his sister was all over sending him birthday wishes and other people too, just friends from different places. There's the pictures of Jacoby with his sister when they were little. So cute. So cute. Yeah, Jacoby just getting birthday wishes left and right. He had a lot. And this is what he did. The first perfect way to start this new 365 days of his life. He's running up a grassy hill at full speed somewhere. He's just running up them hills. All right, Kate Bush, running up that hill. That's not no stranger thing that Jacoby Walter's going to get better and better as a player because he's working hard. DeRozan Code, running up a hill. Running up that hill because it's my birthday and I'm going to play some NBA. Yeah, just running up that hill. If you like Kate Bush, I apologize. Yeah, there's another picture of Jacoby as a little kid. Look at the little denim shirt. Look at Jacoby, man. That is a fly little kid. I'm going to say that right now. Jacoby Walter, happy birthday. Jonathan Mobo wishing happy birthday to his little brother. Jacoby also. Love that. Love that. Norman Powell in his Instagram stories with Coach Eric Spoelstra. The grind is locked in and is in Miami. And Eric looks crazy. Like he's like, hi, Norman. Hi, Norman. Hi, welcome to Miami. Let's grind. Yeah, culture. Yeah. This is what it looks like in the picture. It's like Eric, you know how Eric Spoelstra gets those wild eyes sometimes. Like, wow, yeah, it's Norman. Wild. Siakam wearing his decorum for the PhD ceremony yesterday. Man, that dude looks so awesome. You know what, Siakam? I'm going to say this right now. Looking at you in your orange robe with your doctorate sash around your neck, you would have been a good priest, man. You fit the clothes nice. Seriously, if you had gone that seminary school, you were never going to become a priest. We knew this. You were destined for greatness. But if you had, you could fit the clothes because the clothes you were wearing yesterday to get your PhD doctorate, you look like a priest. And then someone says, like, oh, this may be the most we ever see Siakam look like a priest in his life. Because he ain't playing that life. No, he ain't playing piano with his life. No, he is an NBA player. He's Dr. Siakam to you. That's right. Dr. Siakam. Get it right. Get it right. But you know what? That Dr. Siakam gear looks like a priest gear. The funny thing is he's wearing that stuff. He's wearing the decorum. It's all fancy and stuff like that. But then you scan down. He's wearing the basketball sneakers. And it doesn't fit totally. I love Siakam. I love Siakam so much. It's real. It's real. That's what it is right there. It's real. Yeah, you're awesome, man. There he is getting the robe put on. He looks so happy and proud. This is stuff I love, man. I love this. He does say he looks like a priest. He says, that is not what I was looking for. That's hilarious, man. Charles Oakley's trying to stomp out hunger, y'all. He wants your help. The road to 100,000 starts today. You don't need to know daily fantasy. You need to know your favorite teams to bet on. And also, yeah, Charles Oakley has a new food campaign. So check out Charles Oakley, former Raptor, and what he's trying to do to help people with hunger. There you go. There's your Instagram stories, man. We're so proud of Dr. Siakam. We're so proud of him. So proud of you, man. It's so awesome, man. That's right. Dr. Siakam. That's right. That's right. Isaac Campbell saying January 16th, the Clippers visit Toronto. Okay. Yeah. You know, all right, let me go to Raptors Reddit because there's some stuff they're saying on there about this right now. Now, the first thing on Raptors Reddit is if Kawhi's contract gets voided and he's able to sign somewhere, would you want him back? Well, Toronto Maple Leafs fan wants him back. He keeps coming in here saying this. He was saying this 2 weeks before this Kawhi shit even started. Can we get Kawhi back? Can we get Kawhi back? Maple Leafs fan, shut up. We don't want Kawhi back. Did you not just hear the article that the Los Angeles Clippers sports writer said that he has not been worth it and he's been a waste of time for 6 years for the LA Clippers? So why the fuck would we want him to come back now? It's not like he's any younger or in better health. No, man. He's just older and more apt to get hurt. So it's like, no, nobody needs to get Kawhi Leonard a reunion back in Toronto. You had your chance. Let's think about it this way. If we are a woman and we were in a relationship with Kawhi Leonard and he did what he did to us, would you say, oh, come back, honey? We want you back. No, we wouldn't. We would say, you made your bed. You go lie in it. You are not welcome back in this house with this. No, we have more self-respect for ourselves than to cower and say, oh, Kawhi, please come back to Toronto. Fuck that. We don't need Kawhi. We don't want Kawhi, and having Kawhi back on this team would be stupid. It'd be stupid. So Raptors fans, Kawhi doesn't just equal Larry O'Brien. He did that year in 2019, but that's not a magic formula. That's just a true theorem of mathematics. No, it's not. Kawhi does not equal Larry O'Brien. So don't push this narrative we need to get Kawhi Leonard back because the Clippers are in trouble with him. It's stupid. It is stupid. Seriously, that's the past. Leave it in the past. Kawhi Leonard of 2019 does not exist anymore. That person is not around anymore. This is a totally different person, trust me. And he would not help the Raptors at this point. So everybody's saying this. Oh, should we get him back? This is what else the guy's saying here. Gangsta Rap Made Me is what his name is. Now, obviously, his uncle needs to be shot into space for anyone to want to come close to him again. But I'm conflicted, to say the least, on the subject. Why are you conflicted? Don't be conflicted on this. We don't need him. We really don't need him. In some ways, we got guys that play like him. Scotty, Colin Murray Boyles. These are guys that are going to play like Kawhi, so you don't need Kawhi. And these are younger guys that stay healthy, guys that are on the court and playing for you and not on street clothes, sitting on the bench. Seriously. He's obviously complicit in request weird stuff from the Raptors, maybe even Lakers during free agency. But any team complying with those under the table demands, especially if it's used to cheat the cap, are the main ones to blame. Obviously, probably a Hall of Famer when he actually plays and a legend to all of us. I'm not arguing any on-court stuff. Yeah, and then somebody put F Ed Rogers. People are saying no. Nobody's saying, nah, Kawhi's cooked. This is exactly right. This man is a borderline physically broken, unfortunately. Nah, absolutely not. No. Everybody's saying no to this guy. Nah, none, not yet, not even slightly. No. This guy said like that 5 different ways saying no to this guy about Kawhi coming here. These are smart Raptors fans on Raptors Reddit coming correct against this idiot who's saying, oh, we need to get Kawhi back. We need to get Kawhi back. No, we don't. No, we don't. That is a big, dumb idea. Very dumb. There's Siakam in his doctorate gear on Raptors Reddit. That's right. He has successfully achieved higher learning with his sneakers on and that. Yeah. Somebody's saying this. Anyone else questioning Kawhi's motivations for doing Giants of Africa now that all this new information is dropping? No. I think that this is a real legit thing that he went and did, that it was not selfish and money oriented. No, I don't think so. I mean, if Masai had to pay Kawhi money to go do it, I don't think it was exorbitant. It may be a very reasonable appearance fee, but I would say this: Kawhi Leonard has deep roots to the continent of Africa. He has direct lineage to family to that continent. And in some ways, it does matter to him to get in touch with his roots from his ancestry. And that's part of what that trip is that he is embracing his culture and where he comes from, and he wants to be more immersed in it. So him going to do that, I think that there's no ulterior motive with the Giants of Africa appearance. In fact, I would say this: Kawhi Leonard going to do it after Masai was let go by the Raptors is kind of an FU to the Raptors, because it's like, look, you just fired my guy Masai, and I love him. I'm going to come and show support for him in Giants of Africa and show up. You know, it could very well be that Masai sold someone like this. It's like, look, man, they're getting rid of me in Toronto. It's totally fucked, man. And I want Giants of Africa to stay strong. Kawhi, I need you to come to Giants of Africa this year so that you can show that the brand is still strong and that we have a lot of good things going on. And this will be bigger and better if you come. And Kawhi's probably like, you know what, Masai, you've been so good to me as far as getting me a championship in Toronto and what happened. And I'm sorry I left. I probably shouldn't have left. Oh, it's okay, Kawhi. Just come to Africa now. Yeah, I know, but I feel bad. My uncle told me to do something stupid, and I should have just stayed in Toronto. I admit it now. Maybe he told him that. I don't know. He probably will never say it publicly. But in some ways, Kawhi Leonard knows deep in his heart he should have stayed in Toronto and tried for a repeat. At least one more year, Kawhi, you idiot. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything facetious or nefarious about Kawhi Leonard going to Giants of Africa. And honestly, if he's actually showing and appearing, it's not like a non-appearance fee that he's just getting paid under the table that's weird and shady. He actually showed up and did stuff. Like he coached, he got on the mic and told kids to get inspired and be the future. So it's like, it's a weird situation. I think that what he did was amazing. And I don't get mad at Kawhi for that. No, I don't. No, I don't. That's right. All right, let's see what else you guys are talking about in the chat. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Seymour and Isaac, you guys are funny, man. All right, let's see what else we're saying here in the chat. I jumped ahead. I want to make sure I don't miss any of the comments. Let's see. Okay. Smooth saying, realistically, what kind of penalty could be levied against the Clippers? Well, once again, if we're looking at Minnesota, if we're looking at other situations, it's going to be a big, huge fine. They could, if they had draft picks, they take them away, but they don't. That's the thing. Maybe they since they don't have first round picks, they take out like twice as many second round picks for them. I don't know. That could really screw that team up if they have no draft picks whatsoever, no firsts because of SGA, and no seconds because of the Kawhi scandal. They're also probably likely to suspend people for a year. It'll be like the GM who is in charge around that time, and maybe even Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer may not be allowed to go see his team for a year, like not allowed in his own building because of this. That could be part of it. The other part of the punishment was the contract was voided. If that contract was still valid and going on, Kawhi would lose the money. And he won't get it because that's part of the penalty too. So we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see what happens with all that. That's right. Kaz is saying Kawhi will be resting. Yeah, I don't know what's going to be going on with Kawhi. Is he healthy right now? Is he going to be able to play this year? The Clippers are still going to be old and lazy. It doesn't matter if he plays or not. They're still going to suck. Monique is saying this. Good morning, Superfan Monique. So happy to have you in this stream this morning. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Congratulations, Dr. Siakam. Agree, Lex, and on Evan Gilliard. Why? Thank you, Evan. Yeah, I don't understand Luke wins sometimes. But you know what? I'm trying to piece it together, the logic, and I think it is that the Raptors point guard depth is really good. It's really good. I mean, if the choice was between Jarkel Joyner and Evan Gilliard, you should have picked Gilliard because Jarkel Joyner is just a second-rate Javon Freeman Liberty. And in some ways, it's like, I don't want this guy from Skyhawks over Evan Gilliard the second. What is this crap? So Luke win. I don't understand this, man. I don't understand this. In some ways, well, If there's some method to your madness, I don't know. Either way, in G League, it doesn't matter as much. G League players get shuffled around a lot, and we're more sentimental about this Evan Gilliard thing. It's sad because I seen Calgary Surge fans coming online when they saw the news and say, "What? The Raptors 905 won't have Evan Gilliard this year? That's sad. We were just starting to really like him here in Calgary." That's part of it right there. Evan Gilliard, don't be doing a Kawhi Leonard, bruh. Calgary loves you, man. Canada loved Kawhi, and he turned his back on it. You turn your back on Calgary now? Evan Gilliard the second? No, hopefully he'll come back and play for the Surge next summer. That could be true. He could play for Memphis Hustle all season long this year and then still come back and play in the Canadian Elite Basketball League next summer and be around on his team then. That's probably what will happen. I mean, I think he enjoyed playing for the Surge. I think he did. Seymour saying, no wonder he was traveling so much, looking for a place to hide Kawhi. Laugh out loud. No, run, Kawhi, run. Man, it's weird because the last couple of years we've seen more of Kawhi on social media than his whole entire life before. Like in the last couple of years, we've seen him just show up last summer in the islands somewhere, and there was some controversy that maybe Kawhi was getting controversial stem cell therapy for his body, like something you can't do in the US legally. So he had to go down to Central America and like get his knee injected with stem cells or something like that. I think that's what they were saying when he was down there hanging out down there, is that he was getting an illegal stem cell procedure that you can't do legally in the US and Canada. The thing is that like the guy from San Antonio is saying Uncle Dennis is absolutely a con artist and just a bad person to be around. Uncle Dennis. We're finding out more about the Uncle Dennis jokes were all fun and just kind of goofy, but he's actually a very nefarious person. And in some ways, he's been a very bad influence on Kawhi for a long, long, long time. And well, maybe he is cutting corners in different weird ways with Steve Ballmer and stem cell research and stuff like that, because Uncle Dennis is telling him to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's some crazy stuff. G saying Ballmer did an interview and said he was scammed. Okay, so he's talking about aspiration. And the people that came up with the idea for aspiration did scam people. That's true. Steve Ballmer's not lying when he said he was scammed. But in some ways also, if he used aspiration as a company to launder payments circumventing the salary cap to Kawhi Leonard, that doesn't matter if they scammed him. That's still that is the same action regardless of whether he got scammed on the side also. It's still illegal what is being alleged on this thing. It doesn't matter if aspiration scammed you and Robert Downey Jr. and a whole bunch of other people. It doesn't matter if they scammed you guys. You still had the intention with that contract that Pablo Torre put out in everybody's face that you wanted to pay Kawhi Leonard for the Clippers through aspiration. It says on the contract. It says it on there. That's right. It says it on there. Seymour saying Ballmer said he is innocent and he has no clue what y'all are talking about. Oh, yeah. People get real dumb. They get real forgetful when they're under charges, or they're under kind of like, yeah, we know this. Everybody knows this. It's like police comes there. Do you know how fast you were speeding? I have no idea, officer. What was I doing? I was driving. I was going fast. I didn't even realize. My speedometer is kind of broke, actually. Yeah, I can't tell. You just play dumb. So I have no idea what you're talking about. There was no fraud. They frauded me. They took millions of my dollars and they threw it in the Pacific Ocean, just like I did when I paid Kawhi Leonard all this money the last 6 years to sit on the bench and look pretty. That's right. I just wasted a bunch of money. That's what I am, Steve Ballmer. I'm wasting money left and right, all over the place. That's right. That's right. G saying congratulations to Siakam. He was always growing and evolving. The man's awesome, man. I mean, seriously, this is true what G's saying. We look at Siakam as the kid he was who came here from New Mexico and what he did since then. He has grown immensely. Grown as a player, grown as a person, grown as a man, grown as a professional, grown as a human being. He's just grown in all kinds of ways. And it's amazing. The person like him having this kind of storybook life, it's a fantastic thing, because in some ways you can see the pure unadulterated joy, and there's a pure gratitude underlying it also that is not fake at all. Every single thing that's happened for Siakam, he really hits hard because he has true gratefulness on it. Seriously, he has true grateful on it. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Seymour saying, "Go Trucker Kaz, go! Knew you could do it." Yeah, I knew he could too. He's been messing everybody up. He beat me twice already this year. I don't know if the third time's a charm. It's not looking like it with a 200-point lead right now. No, third time's not the charm, Lex, with Trucker Kaz. No, he's just going to beat you 3-0 this year. I'm pretty sure. I shouldn't say that. I still got time. I've got almost a week. But, man, it's insurmountable in some ways, the lead he's building right now. It's just not even fun, man. In some ways, he's got so many players that average like 30 or 40 a game. And that's a big secret to his success. He did a good job constructing his roster, and he's managed it extremely well also. Yeah, Isaac saying the league should move the Clippers to Vancouver. That's not a bad idea. Maybe they should just move the Clippers to Seattle and name them the Seattle Supersonics. Maybe they should do that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not against this. I mean, it'd be hilarious if like Intuit Dome just isn't used anymore all of a sudden. It's like 1 year of Intuit Dome in the wall of video, and then all of a sudden they stop using it because Clippers aren't there anymore. And then the Lakers are like, we don't like crypto. We're moving into the Intuit Dome. Some goofy like that happens. That's right. That's right. Seymour saying, or Vegas, so the story can continue. Yes, Vancouver would be cool. Yeah, I honestly say this, and it's no diss to people who live in Vancouver. I love you guys. You guys are awesome, but you're never, ever getting an NBA team again. I'm sorry, you're not. You guys failed the first time. And I know it wasn't totally y'all's fault, but I don't see this NBA ever making that mistake again. There's other Canadian teams and other Canadian cities that will get the chance before you guys because you dropped the ball on the first one. And I know it's not totally your fault. It's Stu Jackson's fault. It's Steve Francis's fault. It's and the NBA's fault in a lot of ways too, because they held y'all down just like they tried to hold both of us down. But the Raptors weren't having it. We went off the script and we got better faster. But they did exactly what they wanted to do to us, to you guys, in your first 5 years in the NBA. You guys didn't get anywhere. You guys had horrible drafts. You had horrible teams. You barely won any games. You had horrible attendance. And that's why they're not going to come back to Vancouver. Y'all have too much to do on your own. You have outdoor sports for yourself, mountain biking, hiking. The people that do sports in Vancouver, they do it themselves. They don't watch it. They don't need to be at home on the TV watching sports. They can do so many cool sports outside themselves. The market for having an NBA team in Vancouver isn't that good. It really isn't. Now, when the Sonics went to that region of the world did lose a lot of basketball. When there was no Sonics, no Grizzlies up in that corner of the landmass there, Portland doesn't suffice, and Seattle needs to come back first because Seattle has a rich history, and those fans really do want their team back in Seattle. I know Vancouver fans would love to have the Grizzlies some sort of thing back too, but honestly, I just don't see it. I think it went so badly in Vancouver that you guys getting a second chance for a team, you got to get in line behind Montreal and Calgary before you get another chance. Those two cities will get chances before you guys will. Seriously. Montreal and Calgary are both teams that could happen way before Vancouver. I'm just saying. Let's see. Seymour saying, getting my ride wrapped today. So I'm excited. Sorry. That's cool, man. So you get your ride wrapped. Are you putting a Raptors wrap around it? Or something like that. I don't know. What's the wrap, Seymour? I want to know what the design is. What's it going to look like? What's the make and model? What are you doing, bro? Let's know what you're doing here with your wrap on your ride. I want to know about your wrap, bro. Let's see. Isaac saying, come on, guys. How is a billionaire supposed to compete without hiding money? Come on, guys. How is a billionaire supposed to compete without hiding money and doing fucked up shit? Yeah. All right, Isaac. You get a dunk. You're hilarious, man. That is pretty funny. 57 on the dunk charts for Isaac Campbell. Yeah, that's pretty good. How the hell is he supposed to do anything? Cass is saying, Lex, you can count me in for the NBA fantasy coming out. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you'd like to play NBA fantasy next. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. This man was a fantasy rookie, and he's taking it to like a duck to water. And yeah, I'm sure Cass is real anxious to get in there and continue what he's been doing. I'm wondering if the formula will apply to the NBA league. And we got to figure out. I don't know. I got to see if Peter's going to come back because Peter is our two-time champion. And we'll have to see if he wants to play this year. I don't know. We'll have to see. Most saying, congratulations, Georgia, on advancing. More Mamu. Good episode, AJ, on the season and DeMar, etc. Yeah. Yeah, it was a really good hello and welcome podcast episode. I don't like your commercials. They're cheesy. But hey, you got to make a little money on the side. Alex Wong and William Liu, you go ahead. But yeah, that was a great interview. AJ Lawson is a real one. And honestly, we need to all respect and love AJ Lawson forever going forward. No matter what happens with his path and what happens with the Raptors, AJ Lawson's bona fide Raptors alumni, loved, beloved, real one, native son forever, because his heart is in the right place and he is a real one. And he is the fruition of the dream that I had 25 years ago, that a young man will grow up in the GTA and come and play for the Raptors someday, just like him and RJ have done. So in some ways, AJ Lawson's a special case at this point. I have a lot of strong feelings of positivity towards RJ Barrett, and I do for AJ Lawson also. I really, really do. Yeah, that was a fantastic interview. Hello and welcome's been doing fantastic with the interviews in the last 3 months in the summer, with all kinds of different interviews all over the place with different people. Good job. I appreciate you guys. You do a better job than most people. And you guys are real ones. And that's part of the reason why I like you guys, Wong and Lou. I like you guys. I really do. I do. I like you guys. All right, let's keep going. Sandro Mamu advancing is fantastic. He has not played well the last 2 games for Georgia. His stats have not been that good. But Goga has been carrying them. Goga from Orlando Magic. He's been doing a lot of the big stuff. Sandro had like a 5-point game 2 games ago. And he had a better game in this game yesterday against Cyprus. But for the most part, yeah, he's been struggling a little bit, but they did just good enough to get into this round. And now, well, they're the bottom seed and they got to take on France. And that's going to be tough, man. That's tough. Yeah, Kaz is saying, what is CNE? CNE is the Canadian National Exhibition. It is the big, huge fair that goes on down at an exhibition place every end of the summer. It's like right around my birthday every year. They start setting up roller coasters and Ferris wheels down by the lake, and they have the air show. And CNE is usually a sign that the summer is over, because the fair rides and the fair games and the casino and the food building and the livestock and the CNE band shell, they're having concerts. And yeah, it's a sign of the end of the summer, and it's a fair basically, which a bunch of fair rides for kids to ride on. And yeah, CNE, AJ Lawson went down there to shoot some baskets on a CNE game. They have shooting games, or like you got to throw the hoop around the frog and the lily pad, those kind of goofy carnival games. Well, they have the basketball game and they have the hoops, and the hoop is just slightly bigger than the ball. And that's why the ball doesn't go through it. It's just the truth. They're grifters, man. They just trying to make money. They have that big fat Pokemon over in the corner. They got the Pikachu, and everybody's like, I want that Pikachu, honey. Will you give me the Pikachu? All right, honey, I can do it. I'm your boyfriend. I'm really capable. All right, here's $20, sir. I'm going to make it on the first shot, honey. Woo, brick. Oh, make it on the second shot, brick. AJ, you're in the NBA. How come you're not making? Oh, don't worry about this, honey. I'll make it the next one. Here's another $20, buddy. It's crazy. But yeah, Canadian National Exhibition. Yeah, it's been a thing in my life since I was a little kid. They've been doing it out there since the whole time I've been around. That's right, 50 years. That's right. That's right. Salute to Seymour. Trevor J saying Caitlin Clark is done for the season. Indiana Fever have done very well when she has been missing. And, the unsung hero on this team is Kelsey Mitchell. Like, she has been so good this year. And I know because she's on my fantasy team. And in some ways, she's been carrying my team. I'm not going to lie. Kelsey Mitchell has been carrying my team from Indiana Fever this season. And Caitlin Clark, well, she's missed some games, but she's still the superstar and the people that are tuning in to want to see and stuff like that. But yeah, I wish her well and getting better and coming back. That's right. Shaq Lindsay's in the chat this morning. Good to see Shaq Lindsay saying, empowering victims to speak out is Trump's and these elites' worst nightmare. Yeah, that's why they want to snuff out the news. They don't want whistleblowers. In fact, they're punitively coming after people that are whistleblowers in different ways. They are very gross, man. There's so much weird fascist, totalitarian dictator shit going on right now. It's like, dare to speak out. Well, we're going to come after you and we're going to crush you, is what they want to do. So people got to keep speaking out, because if there's enough of us, he can't whack-a-mole everybody. And that's the other thing. It's just like the thing in the classroom where somebody did something wrong behind the teacher's back. And the teacher said, we're not doing anything until somebody steps forward and says, who did this? Who did this? Who did this right now? Oh, listen, lady, listen. I did it. And then another kid in the corner says, I did it. And then another kid in the corner says, I did it. And then the whole class raises their arm. We all did it. That's the thing. If we can do that kind of stuff, we can do that kind of action and that kind of stuff. We can be very powerful as long as we have solidarity and we work together. Yeah. But yeah, whistleblower, they don't want, they you know what he got rid of? This is the craziest thing. The IRS goes and finds tax fraud at the highest level by companies, corporations, billionaires, really sickening stuff. And well, he dismantled that branch of the IRS who's supposed to keep checks and balances on the rich looting from the top. In fact, he's punished some of them for coming around and fining big, huge companies for malfeasance and things like that. So yeah, we're living in a lawless world where the bank robbers aren't people that wear things around their face and go into banks. No, they're people that live in mansions far away that are stealing money from us on mass scale constantly. And anytime, if you're getting in the way, you're going to say something about it. Well, in some ways now with Trump in charge, they will try and get revenge on you. It's really fucked up. And there's no checks and balances on power. There's no checks and balances on malfeasance and criminality at this point. The criminals are in charge. So crime is open season right now, is basically what it is. If you're a white collar criminal, if you're some sort of exploitive oligarch or a capitalist or CEO, you can get away with so much right now. That's why they can fire so many people from jobs for AI replacing them, like Rogers did recently. Rogers employees are coming out saying that we trained AI to do our jobs, and then they fired thousands of us afterwards. So there's a lot of disgusting, gross shit going on. And Shag Lindsay's exactly right. Dan Rosario saying ESPN just salty that Torre didn't want to work for them anymore. Yeah, I don't know who was what and with what was what as far as working for each other. That doesn't sound right, because Pablo Torre probably would love to just work for ESPN and continue to. He did work for them slightly. He was a contributing reporter, but he wasn't actually a full-time reporter with them. I think that that's not true. I think that Pablo Torre has given them work and they've accepted it and they've used it. And he would do that every single time. If this was more an official way, yeah, that would have been awesome. But yeah, let's not get this twisted, man. I don't think that's what it is. Pablo Torre is the kind of guy that would kiss asses to get in ESPN as far as he could. Let's not get it twisted. He's not like me. I have no aspirations to be on ESPN, but I'm sure that dude, because he was on ESPN, this is not true. I don't think this is true. I don't think this is true, Dan, with all due respect. Monique saying, what do you think of the new All-Star format? Yeah, this was announced, and I understand why they're doing this. In some ways, when they announced it was going to be USA versus the world for the All-Star format, partly because the Winter Olympics are going on, and there's going to be a lot of international play because of that. I realized that the percentage of world players is not big enough to take a 50-50 share of the All-Stars. Like in some ways, part of it is these people don't want to see RJ be an All-Star, honestly. In some ways, that's what I feel like it is, because if they had a full 12-man team for just world, there's a lot of players that would get on the All-Star team finally, like Jamal Murray and RJ Barrett. That in some ways they don't want to see that. I think also the Players Association, led by Fred VanVleet, President Fred VanVleet, Dr. Pascal Siakam, hello. He want to make sure the demographics of the NBA are represented in the All-Star teams. And 77% of the NBA players, 2/3 of the NBA players are American. So there's a 33% of the league that's international. So if you're making two teams, that's not totally fair to the 77% of the Americans. I get that. So they're going to do this convoluted shit where they're going to have 3 All-Star teams of 18 people. So there's really going to only be 8 world All-Stars, and there's going to be 2 American teams. So 16 Americans, 8 world. It fits the demographics of the 77-33 split. But if the NBA becomes more 50-50, maybe they can do this straight up. But everybody's already crying foul that this is going to be stupid because last year they didn't like the multiple teams concept. They just want two teams, East versus West. This is what the people want. But Adam Silver wants to work with this whole world concept, even though it doesn't totally work. Now, what I'm not understanding is if there's going to be three teams in a round robin, how the hell does that work? Are you guys going to do this shit again where you make the G League team competition have a winner and then there'll be a fourth team from G League that's going to compete in this? Because that seems like the best way to do this. If you're going to do this, because I don't like the oddness of three teams. You might as well let the G Leaguers come up again and get a shot at being the fourth team in that little mini tournament. But either way, that format failed last year. People didn't like it. So I don't understand why Adam Silver's trying to have multiple all-star teams again. It don't make no sense. It's like, oh, well, we can't have just a 50-50 split between world and USA. We better have three teams and make two of them American and one world. Some ways it's inferiority. It's kind of weird, like they're threatened or something like that. I don't understand it totally. I mean, there is a big narrative around the NBA and FIBA and a USA basketball that they have to absolutely have this look of being dominant and absolutely the top of the whole entire world. And any threats towards that, like a world versus USA all-star game or even a world championship of basketball where champions from other leagues play the NBA champion. This is all a sticky situation for the NBA and their marketing and Team USA basketball because they have a brand and they have a whole thing that they want to keep. You know, when USA goes down to America and they lose a couple games and they get the third place in America, people are saying that they're losers because they got third and they didn't get first. And in some ways, that's true. Some ways that's true. So, yeah, I don't know. This format's weird. I don't think it's any different than last year's format, and it's going to fail, and it's going to look bad, and people will complain about the same things that they complain about this year at the All-Star game for this one, if they're going to do it this way. I think they should just keep it very basic and have two teams and make it East versus West, just like everybody's saying. If there's enough international players in like 5 or 10 years where it's 50-50 in the league, then do a world versus USA straight up 50-50 split. But this 73-33 split is stupid. And in some ways, it's kind of like, yeah, this doesn't totally seem fair. If you're really trying to do USA versus the world, it needs to be one team versus one team and not two USA teams versus one world team. That don't make no sense to me. I don't know. That's my spiel on the whole thing that they announced about the All-Star yesterday. Cool Cat saying, I don't watch any mainstream media news anymore. I look for great independent journalists. That's a great way to do it. You know, in some ways, I get my news through social media. Like I'll listen to certain people that I respect, like Heather Cox Richardson. There's a lot of different people. Robert Reich is somebody who's always opining about current things that are happening and taking note of them. You know, there's different places you can get your news without all the sensationalism, and often it's not dictated by corporate people that are in charge above it to say this is the filter and what you have to say and what you can't say. So yeah, find those independent journalists, find those independent news sources, and cherish them and pay attention. Hopefully, they don't go anywhere. You know, Bo of the Fifth Column went away mysteriously around this time last year. And it was complete bullshit. It was right before the election. And I still feel like Bo was compromised in a really seedy, underhanded way. And it wasn't exactly what it seems. And in some ways, it was very detrimental to information getting out there that Bo of the Fifth Column went away all of a sudden before the election last year. In some ways, he could have been calling out a whole bunch of shit that's going on right now. He'd be working overtime with the shit storm that's come from Project 2025 and MAGA. And trying to explain it all to us. And, you know, even the lead up to the election, Bo of the Fifth Column would have helped so much immensely with information and killing misinformation and putting the truth out there. But mysteriously, he just left and they replaced him with his wife. I mean, I think that's his wife. I'm not totally sure. Who knows if that's his wife for real? I mean, seriously, who knows if Bella the Ranch is actually Bo of the Fifth Column's wife? Or just a plant to supplement this, because a lot of her shit is not adding up to what he used to do. She's not doing the same thing that he did. She's not providing the same stuff. And it's not just because he was very talented and good at it. It's like the directives of how they do what they do is totally different under Bell than it is Bo. And to me, that's fishy as fuck. It's very, very fishy. Shaq Lindsay saying the revolution will not be televised. People will not be intimidated or live in fear no longer. Yeah. And I love this. I mean, we've gotten the basic tenements of what we should be holding as values as general public and general citizens of multicultural backgrounds and all kinds of different groups. You know, they try to divide us to hate each other, but no, let's not get this twisted. The minority that's destroying the world is the 1% billionaire oligarchs, corporate CEO types is who's ruining the world. It's not immigrants. It's not trans. It's not Asian people. It's not black people. It is the rich 1% that are destroying the world. And we need to understand that's who everybody should be against, not against each other. No, it's not people coming from India. No, it's not people coming from South America. Nope, it's not the trans and the gay and the lesbian people. It is the 1% rich oligarchs like Ed Rogers III and Donald Trump that are destroying this world. And those are the true enemy to the common man and the general populace. That is it right there. That's right. Shaq saying these rich elites tried to put a puppet in the White House to cover up for them, but their plan is failing. Yeah, he's a scapegoat. In some ways, he's such a crazy anarchy kind of guy that they can get away with a lot of crazy shit with his sideshow distracting everybody. And that's kind of the plan. That's exactly right. In some ways, he shoots them in the foot, but he also at the same time gives them a huge, great cover of distraction with bullshit. Epstein files in some ways is a distraction in itself. I really applaud the victims for coming out and speaking publicly in Washington, D.C. this week. It's very powerful what they had to say. And honestly, it just really makes it hit even harder at home exactly how vile and disgusting the Jeffrey Epstein lifestyle and what he was doing with people and the people that engaged in it with him, like Donald Trump. Yeah, he's totally an Epstein guy. I mean, come on now. The way he talked about his daughter, the way he lurches after like young women, he's always done that. Why what the hell would he not be like Jeffrey Epstein, having sex with 13 and 14-year-olds? Who doesn't think Donald Trump has had sex with a 13 or 14-year-old? Seriously, we all know he has. So it's like this is who y'all are culting for, MAGA, is a pedophile. It's basically the damn truth. It is the damn truth. I say that. That's the damn truth. Isaac's saying Dr. Pascal is the top Raptor of all time. Well, okay. Another person has entered the chat. Isaac Campbell is disagreeing with AJ Lawson. He's saying the greatest Raptor of all time is Dr. Siakam. I mean, I make an argument for that too. Seriously, that man's gone to the finals again last year. And you know what? He's a great Raptor with an amazing story. I have my Mount Rushmore, my top four. I should say top four. Mount Rushmore is a stupid place and a dumb thing that happened. My top four Raptors of all time are DeRozan, Lowry, Siakam, and Van Vliet. Those are the four greatest Raptors of all time in my book. If you have to pick a top four, or whatever that old term is that I don't want to use anymore because they ruined a Native American heritage site by putting colonist presidents up there. No, my top four is DeRozan, Lowry, Siakam, and Van Vliet. It's probably in that order right now. I'm with AJ. It's like sometimes I flip Kyle over DeMar. I flip them sometimes. But right now I'm on a DeMar tip with AJ Lawson. Greatest Raptor all time is DeMar DeRozan, guys. Seriously. And that shows you if you're that kind of Raptor fan. It's like, oh, you're pre-championship fan. If you say DeMar DeRozan's the greatest Raptor of all time. A lot of people just showed up after that big parade and Kawhi and everything. But they didn't know about DeRozan. Or maybe they think he's a joke or a punchline. No, the greatest Raptor of all time is DeMar DeRozan. Dr. Siakam? That's not a bad pick either. I would say that. Dr. Siakam. Most saying happy heavenly birthday, Nathan Barrett, yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough day for RJ. And you know what? I'm sure this is part of his drive. This is part of why he does what he does. And he gets in the gym and he strives for higher and achieving higher. I mean, that's such a powerful thing to drive yourself is the memory of a loved one, especially a younger brother that was gone way too soon. Way, way too soon. Yeah, I feel for the Barrett family on the anniversary. On our Nathaniel's birthday yesterday. It's just sad. It's just a sad situation in general. Yeah. Yeah. Man. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Friday. Congratulations, Dr. Siakam. Yeah, we love that. Dr. Siakam. That's right. That's Dr. Siakam to you. And fuck you, Keith Pelly and Ed Rogers. Fuck you guys. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying now they want to pardon Epstein's wife. What the fuck? Yeah, that's not his wife. That's his assistant, Gizlan or whatever. She's been housed at Tallahassee for the longest time, but now she's in a country club in Texas. And Trump's trying to keep her shut up. She has a lot of power. She has a lot of power. She could probably blow the whole thing over, but she wants to get out, and she's a horrible person. And she's the big reason why those survivors came down there. It's like, look, she needs to be rotting in jail. She shouldn't even be in a nice jail where she has everything she wants, which is where she is right now. She should be rotting in jail. That's the right punishment. But no, criminals are running the world in the United States. So now, criminals are going to let criminals get out. And that's what this is with Maxwell. That's what this is. Trump is saving his own ass by pardoning her and get her out because in some ways she could take him down. And he knows that. And if she just mysteriously died all of a sudden, well, that would look really weird with Jeffrey already mysteriously dying. You know what I'm saying? Especially after a couple of years and the heat is on about all this. So yeah, she's very powerful and she's only working for herself. If she was more powerful and smart, she's not. She's a piece of shit. She would take him down and she'd do it correctly. But no, she's part of the problem and she is a pedophile and she is absolutely a sex trafficker, absolutely guilty as fuck. And she was found guilty. But a criminal in the White House will get her expunged. Watch. The criminal will get her expunged. Smooth Brown Man saying NBA's rep is taking a beating, man. Maybe Adam Silver has to do something. This isn't good. Yeah, he probably should. I mean, he did something very drastic when he first came into power with Donald Sterling. And, well, it's that team again. So the Clippers are a fucking headache for him. And, well, what are you going to do? You're going to Sterling bomber? Are you going to fucking send him out the pasture? I don't think you will because this is too powerful. And Adam Silver, in some ways, that is your God, is this. Your God isn't integrity and the rules. Your God is this, Adam Silver. So you going to do the right thing? No, because Steve Ballmer is the sixth richest person in the world, and this is what rules his world along with Adam Silver's. So he ain't going to do jack shit, man. Even if this looks bad, there'll be some sort of scapegoat of some sort. It'd be really fucked up if they used Kawhi Leonard as the example and made to be made of when Steve Ballmer is the one who deserves it. That's right. Seymour saying Dennis said no matter what he accomplishes, he'll never be loved in Germany like Dirk because of his skin color. So sad. I mean, you know what? I want to say that Dennis is wrong. And in some cases, he is wrong. Sure, there's old ass racist German people. They're probably like, oh, Dennis Schroeder's carrying the German flag at the Olympics. Fuck that. I hate that. That's no good. Give me Dirk. Sure, he's true at what he's saying, but he's not totally right either. There are a lot of people that look at him and love him just as much. I know I do. I love him more than I'd love Dirk. In some ways, I don't give a shit about Dirk. I give more shit about Dennis Schroeder. So it's like it's not totally true what he's saying. It's on a case by case basis. But the meaning of what he's saying is like, he's trying to imply that because he's a black guy, German people aren't going to warm up to him or feel as comfortable having him as the leader or hero. Look, Dennis, take the flowers, take the accolades, take the things you're accomplishing. And in some ways, sure, talk about it. You have that right. But also cherish and relish, the things like you getting assigned the book back in your hometown in Germany. That special day when you signed that book. I saw that ceremony. The specialness of being the first ever African or black German that carried the German flag, the Olympic flag bearing ceremony. That's the first time that ever happened, Dennis. They've never had a black guy carry the German flag at the Olympics like they did last year. That is really important and special. And in some ways, your message is clear. But also, man, take time for breaking through those ceilings and take time to really soak that stuff in. And don't be totally bitter because of this other stuff, the racial taunts or the things that you said about whether you be as loved as Dirk. Make sure you're taking the love that you are actually getting to. I'm not saying that what you're saying ain't true. I'm just saying I hope that you're not so in that mindset that you're not actually taking that hopefully you're taking the moment to really savor the good stuff too, is what I'm saying to Schroeder right now. That's right. We don't want you to be a total Bret Hart here and just complain all the time. You know what I'm saying? Seymour saying Dennis. Oh, yeah, I read that. Nameless saying, love you guys and gals. That's all. All right, Nameless. Dap to you, my paisano. Buongiorno. I hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend. And I hope I see you in the chat more this weekend. We'll have to see. Seymour's getting dapped to him. Nameless saying Dr. Spice. Who needs Dr. Pepper? There you go, Dunk. Dr. Spice. Dr. Spicy. There you go. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, all right. We'll give him a dunk. We'll give him a dunk. Dr. Spice. You know, there are spices in Dr. Pepper, right? There are spices in Dr. Pepper. And I wonder about that. All right. Infamous, man, you have been away so much. You got your 12th dunk of the year. You got the Colin Murray Boyles. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I know, or no, nameless. You've been away. Actually, that was the wrong name. I put it on infamous. Hang on. Let me go back. Where's nameless? We got to get nameless the dunk. I don't know. I got nameless and infamous I'm confused. Okay, actually, he's got the Jemias Ramsey 27. I was about to say, nameless has been here longer, more than that, right? He's been here more than that. That's right. Isaac saying this. Hang on. It jumped ahead. Let me make sure. Isaac Campbell is the next statement. I heard Kawhi needed the extra $48 million to cover his healthcare costs in the U.S. of America. Well, he does need a lot of healthcare, that's for sure. And the costs are exorbitant and crazy. Like, you spend so much money on healthcare, and the healthcare sucks. It's like a ripoff. That's what it is. The American private healthcare system is a ripoff system of a bunch of grifters and bullshit artists. And that's why we need to reject that shit coming up here with any kind of privatized healthcare. Fuck you, Doug Ford. Fuck you, Danielle Smith. Fuck you, anybody who's trying to privatize healthcare in Canada. That's one of the things that make us better than the United States is we have public healthcare. So let's not fuck with that. Hello, you guys, you idiots. Let's see. Smooth saying, I was reading that he got half of the $48 million owed. So he did get part of it. Interesting. Kaloy's here. Happy Friday, y'all. Good morning to you, Kaloy. Blackhawk saying America does stem cell treatment, but Brazil does a higher count level. Many UFC and wrestlers go to Brazil for the procedure. Yeah, that's what I've heard. That, you know, the regulations for this kind of stuff is interesting. You know, we're going to need regulations. Regulations is important. U.S. and Trump are trying to run back all kinds of regulations, whether it's environmental, whether the thing that's really scary is they don't want any regulations on AI. That sounds really bad, doesn't it? We don't want any AI regulations on AI companies. No regulations. And we've already stolen all your data with Palantir and Elon at the beginning of the year with their Doge bullshit blitz to steal everybody's data. That's really what they were doing. They weren't trying to make things more efficient. They were just trying to steal everybody's information. And they did. They did. And they are going to implant it in this Palantir, and it's going to be part of how they use it for a police state on everybody. It's really messed up, man. They're already doing it that way, the police state of it. You know, a lot of the stuff, the technology that they may eventually use on the United States is being used on the people of Palestine and Gaza right now. You know, they send all this bullshit, this AI, this Palantir to the IDF and Ben Netanyahu, the war criminals of genocide. And they're using a lot of this stuff on the Palestinians. It's like really disgusting shit, man. They're lighting people on fire with crazy ass shit. People are in tents, and children and women and old people are getting lit on fire by Israelis in the fucking IDF and this bullshit, man. It's crazy. The brutality and the butchers of the IDF and Ben Netanyahu, their war crimes hopefully will get come to justice, and they will get their just desserts and punishment for it. Seriously, they deserve this shit. The fucking genocide they're doing over there. That's right. Let's keep going. Wayne's here. Good to see Sergeant Wayne. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Compton does what Compton will do. There you go. I like that. I like that. Kaloy's saying Kawhi's situation is downright hilarious. I'm wondering who told Ballmer that Kawhi is worth all of this. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Doc Rivers, maybe Lawrence Frank. I don't know. I don't know why this happened. In some ways, they're idiots, and whatever, they get what they get. You guys try to shortcut. Y'all screwed over the Raptors for being able to try and repeat. Well, you lose SGA, and you lose the right to any kind of future Larry O'Brien's in this present moment. Because honestly, y'all ain't never won, and it don't look like you're going to be set up to win any in the next 10, 15 years if this really messes y'all up with the penalties. Seriously, this could happen. Roger Raymond's here. Good morning to Roger Raymond, a supporter of this channel. I appreciate you for being a channel member, Roger. I hope you're doing very, very well this Friday Friday morning. Happy Freak Out Friday, Raptor Freak fam. Every day is a great day to celebrate Pascal and DeMar. That's right. That's right. These are shining examples of great Raptors. There's been a lot of poor Raptors that are not good examples in the past. Jonte Porter, Goran Dragic, Chris Bosh. very poor examples of Raptors in a lot of ways. But Siakam and DeRozan, they're exemplary examples. Dr. Siakam. DeMar DeRozan is going to be a Hall of Famer. There's an article on ESPN this morning that's stupid. They're tiering who's going to be in the Hall of Fame next. And the tiers are crazy. They've got locks. And yeah, a lot of them seem like it. Kawhi Leonard, sure, I guess, because he got 2 championships with 2 different teams. Chris Paul's on here as a lock. I don't know why Chris Paul's a lock when he don't have no championship, but Kyle Lowry's on the bubble. That's stupid. No non-top 75 locks. I don't know. Klay Thompson? Seriously? Paul George? What the fuck are you? Joel Embiid is a lock to be a Hall of Famer? Who the fuck is smoking crack to think that? Rudy Gobert. All right, you're definitely smoking crack. You put that there. Young stars well on their way. Okay, that's stupid. Veterans on the bubble. DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. They're saying that DeMar, this is what they say. Although Basketball Reference gives DeMar a 48% chance to make the Hall of Fame, given his current resume, he might be the closer to a lock than on the bubble. You're damn right he's a lock. You're damn right DeMar DeRozan is a lock to be a Hall of Famer. You idiots. You put him on the bubble. You just want to sully the Raptors any which way you can. DeMar DeRozan should be a lock, and you should put him in that first group with LeBron, you dumbass. Kyle Lowry's a lock too, motherfuckers. You say Kyle Lowry. They lumped Kyle Lowry together with Kevin Love and Drew Holiday as champions who are kind of like maybe deserving. I don't know. This is what we say. Lowry should be in Hall of Fame also. So this is a lot of bullshit on here. They do have Scotty in one of the tiers, guys. Group 6, circle back in a few years. He's in a group with Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Cade and Evan, Paulo, Zion Williamson. What? Circle back in what years? That man ain't played. Ja Morant, another one. Seriously. Trae Young, LaMelo Ball, Scotty Barnes. So they got him in this group. Cooper Flagg's in this group too. This is stupid, man. Circle back in a few years. But at least Scotty is mentioned. Here. So, yeah. They're asking, is Stephon Castle better than, say, Siakam? They're saying definitely not. Okay, good. Good. Siakam's not on any of these tiers. They would never put him on here in some sort of way. Yeah. Let's see. Where's Barnes mentioned in the bottom part? I don't know. Either way, ESPN's always tiering and listing and grading and doing all this bullshit. Fuck you guys with your fucking tiers and all this bullshit. Sack cram, your dumbass shit. Seriously. DeMar DeRozan's a lock. Kyle Lowry may be on the bubble, but he's likely to be a Hall of Famer also. So, the rest of it's all fucking stupid, honestly. It's really stupid. Chloe saying it's like that hot chick who gets you hooked on meth and steals shit from you. Yeah, I know that girl too. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're talking about the relationship with Kawhi. Okay. Seymour saying when Vancouver had a team, it was a hockey city, but the young Asian community that's there now will embrace the team the right way. Trust me, Lex, it's a new day out west. That could make sense. But honestly, the NBA don't want no chances where it could go south once again. It'll look really bad. So it's kind of like they have to make sure it's 100% foolproof the second time they come back. Because if they go in there and they lose it again, it's just going to look so bad. So in some ways, they may need more time. Like, seriously, I don't think 20 years is enough between losing their team. They may need 50 years. So it may not be like 30 years from now, maybe Vancouver gets another chance. But yeah, I mean, and I know it's not even really the city's fault. It's like I said, it's the NBA's fault. It's Stu Jackson's fault. It's Steve Francis's fault. They didn't want that Vancouver team to be good or compete, but they were so bad that it was really bad. And, well, it is what it is. I mean, they may be ready now, but I don't see it happening because in some ways, Adam Silver doesn't want to repeat a failure again. And the chances of it failing again are there. Seymour saying it's a carbon fiber wrap. Cool. Wrapping the hood and a roof. All right. That's cool, man. What's on the graphic? What's on the wrap? Let's see. Seymour saying Vancouver does PNE. Edmonton does ENE. Calgary does Stampede. Toronto does CNE. It's the same people who travel and set up in these cities. Yeah, it used to be the Conklin Group. You remember they had that weird clown logo, the little red cheeked clown with the cross eyes and the little black hat. Yeah, he was cute. That's very nostalgic for the kids from Toronto. If you grew up in Toronto and you went to C&E, you saw those clowns on the sides of the rides, the Conklin group going around and setting up, and that's who Seymour's talking about, going from the major Canadian cities and setting up those rides across the country. That's right. Yeah, I like that. Cool Cat saying WNBA viewership will still increased even with Caitlin out. There are lots of great players on each team that draw viewership. The ball skills and competitive level in the WNBA is real. Yeah, Caitlin Clark's a gateway for a lot of people to get involved in WNBA and care about it. And that's really what it is. It's like she's the lure. She's the lure for a lot of people to open that door and go in there. It's just like with Hulk Hogan in the WWF in the 80s. It's just like Magic, Larry, and Michael with the NBA. You know, you got to have a attraction, something that's like outside of the game that's kind of known that will bring people in to be involved in the game. And, you know, Caitlin and Angel, they're really kind of the two people that did that, that made it more mainstream and brought in the attention. I'm not disagreeing with you. There's a lot of talent in the league and stuff like that, but you cannot deny Caitlin Clark is the Hulk Hogan of the WNBA right now. She's the one who's bringing the eyes in. And, you know, that's why the other wrestlers say, like, well, if I'm on a wrestling card with Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant, we're going to make good money tonight because he's the draw. He's the one that brings the people and puts them in the seats. And I mean, Caitlin Clark is that person for the WNBA. There's no denying that. You know, there's other WNBA stars that are draws too on their own level, but Caitlin Clark's on a whole other level, even over Angel Reese. Angel Reese is a very popular player and is bringing new faces in, new people in too to watch it, but not the same level as Caitlin Clark. Not the same level. Chloe saying exactly, it's going to be a golden age for organized crime in the U.S. because all the agencies have been taken over by imbeciles or just destroyed. There's no oversight, and there's no cat in the kitchen to keep the mice off the cheese. And that's it right there. You know, that the history repeats itself from 100 years ago. It was the Gilded Age with the robber barons is a similar thing. The Great Depression happened last 100 years ago around now. And that was because people got too greedy at the top and people starved. And well, there was a reform and the New Deal came, FDR, all kinds of stuff like that happened. So, you know, when people start hurting, when people start losing healthcare coverage, they start losing homes, they start seeing people die that didn't have to die, they're going to get pissed off. And in some ways, that will be the motivation to fight and rebel and upset this whole system that's absolutely crooked and rigged and running all kind of greedy and roughshod. So, yeah, there's going to be rightening of things. Trust me. The masses will stand up and we will do our part to fix this shit. And in some ways, the way they did it before was major regulatory stuff. They had to rein these motherfuckers in, and some of these guys had to go to jail and prison for robbing people at the top, robber barons, the first Gilded Age. Well, we're in a techno Gilded Age now, and it's in some ways a little bit harder to sort out, but the same actions and the same principles and the same storyline should play out the same way. That, you know, it may not happen right away. The 20s may be very lawless for the rest of the 2020s. And over time, there will be more things fixing and correcting some of this shit. And they'll come back and they'll put some of these agencies back together, and they'll realize the usage of the regulations is important. And there will be a big backlash and we will get this stuff back. But it may be like there's 10 years of really lawless, crazy abuse of this until we get responsible people back in power that want to do good for most people instead of just a few. And then it'll start to change back. You know, a lot of this is going to be that we have to fight right now in the United States against fascism and dictatorship. This guy wants to run in 2028. And this is the thing is everybody's got to do this everywhere, whether it's in Canada, whether it's in Mexico, whether it's in Australia, whether it's in Germany, whether it's in the United States. Everybody needs to reject right-wing politicians. Everybody who's right-wing is fascist at this point. They're playing their card right now. They're showing we are fascists. Doug Ford's a fascist. Danielle Smith's a fascist. Donald Trump's a fascist. Vladimir Putin is a fascist. You know, everybody's showing their fascist card of being a right-winger or a conservative politician, because that's what that is. If you consider yourself a conservative, you better change yourself right now. You better go centrist, because you guys are all getting grouped as grifters and robber barons and the part of the problem, because everything conservative politics right now is helping them. It's not against them. So if we're against the things that they're trying to build with their bullshit and the oligarchy, we got to reject all right-wing conservative politicians everywhere around the globe, whether it's here in Canada, here in Ontario, in Toronto, whether it's in the United States, every city, every county, every state, they all got to do it. And we got to do it in Australia, and we got to do it in Germany. And that's what we got to do, because right-wing politics have gotten us to this point where we're on the edge of a technocracy that is a kleptocracy by the oligarchy, and they're just going to steal money through technology from the top and from everybody, and we're all going to live outside with a gas barrel on fire, holding our hands over it, with no house, no job, just bag people living out in the terrain. Seriously, that shit is what they want, and that's what they're moving towards. And if we want to have a sustainable future for all of us, and more equality and more equal possibilities financially and economically, we got to upset the system and stop all the funneling of everything up to the top, because that's the biggest problem in the world today. And that is all set up and been worked towards by right-wing politics this whole time. So if you considered yourself a conservative, but you don't like what's going on right now, you need to switch. You need to switch right now, because you know that side is the wrong side of history. You know that side is the criminal side. You know that side is just a bunch of fucking con artists at this point. And if you want to be with bigots, racists, con artists, grifters, people that are killing grandmas, taking away diabetes medicine from people, taking houses away from children, killing immigrants, killing other people, you go ahead and stick with that evil ass side and look bad for it in the long run. People should be running away from conservative politics right now. If you're an everyday average citizen, if you're smart, you should be like, fuck the conservative party, fuck the Republicans. They are stabbing me in the back. And they are already in the United States. And don't get it twisted. The PC government and the PC people up here are just as bad as the Republicans in the United States. Just so you know. Seriously, that's it right there. That's it right there. Shaq Lindsay saying that victims of Epstein are speaking out, and thankfully so. That's very brave of them. In some ways, they shouldn't have to do this. The justice system should take care of this. They don't even need to be publicly known, but they're seeing the justice system ain't taking care of this shit. So they are speaking out and publicly being brave. And I commend the women that are doing that. Seriously. No longer are they waiting for the list, because they have their own. There you go. There you go. And this is fantastic. In fact, one of the names that was brought out is a huge benefactor to Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and Donald Trump. Somebody who's directly given tons of money to both of these pieces of shit politically is a pedophile that's on the Epstein list that was named by these women 2 days ago. A guy who's funneling money currently, who's not in any trouble, is on that list as a guy who very directly helped Mike Johnson to get his position and has very much supported Donald Trump. So pedophiles support pedophiles, criminals support criminals. And that's what's going on down there right now. They don't want to talk about that in the news. They want to mainstream this shit. Seymour saying what Stephen A. Smith said, in no way or fashion am I coming at Steve Ballmer, and then ripped Kawhi. I knew they wouldn't attack the man with the money. Yeah, that's part of it right there. And somebody came in my comments yesterday and said, thank you for pointing out it's Steve Ballmer's fault, not Kawhi's. I mean, I don't know how much Kawhi is guilty in this. He may be, but in some ways he's an unassuming guy who just wants to play basketball. It may be more Uncle Dennis is to blame, and he has criminality in this. But Kawhi is the more public figure, so he's going to get more of the grudge. If they Jonte Porter Kawhi, that wouldn't be fair. In some ways, Steve Ballmer deserves the punishment. It's very, very true. Stephen A. Smith's bootlicker. He won't upset the status quo. He won't go after the billionaire, the guy who owns the Clippers. Well, he's compromised. And in some ways, why should we listen to him on any of his opinions if he's such a pussy that he won't speak his mind on this? You know what I'm saying? That's what I say about that. Isaac saying billionaires had such a hard time spending money. Ballmer would need to spend $68 million a day in order to spend his money in his lifetime. Kawhi was just trying to help guys. I know. What is this? The modern day version of Brewster's Millions? It's like Monty Brewster is Steve Ballmer, and you have the task, Steve Ballmer, to spend this amount of money by this time. Oh, but don't hire any interior design people to try and redo your place over and over again, because they might hold a deposit in your name and then screw you up to get it. Oh, but I need a retainer. Will you be my retainer, hot lawyer lady, in the last second so Richard Pryor can get the full fortune? Yeah, that's the story of Brewster's Millions with John Candy and Richard Pryor. Rest in peace, both those great comedy giants. Yeah, yeah. Steve Ballmer, are you on a secret Brewster's Millions? Do you need to just throw money at Kawhi Leonard because there's an even bigger money you're going to get from your uncle who died? I love talking 80s movies plots right there. It sounds like Brewster's Millions to me, Isaac Campbell. That's right. Kawhi's helping him. It's like playing for the Cubs and hiring the Yankees to come play in that field with the train that goes through there. Monique saying 31 days until the Raptors play basketball. That's right. That would be the Denver Nuggets against the Raptors in Vancouver in the Canada series after a training camp and Calgary wraps up the open practice that's hopefully my man Seymour Pape's going to be in attendance at. And then boom, goes the dynamite. They go to Vancouver and they're going to play Jokic and the Nuggets in their first preseason game. Woo, can't come fast enough. That 31 Sean Marion right there. That's right. That 31 Reggie Miller. That's right. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, he was describing Brewster's Millions for sure. Yeah, Isaac's saying each time I see a clip of the shot, I'm going to tell my kids that it was KL2 Aspire. That's hilarious. Yeah, should we just start using the word aspire around Kawhi Leonard all the time? I would aspire to be like Kawhi Leonard in my life. Kawhi Leonard aspires to be healthy and on the court playing. That's funny. That's funny. Wayne's saying the rich has ground soldiers. Ground soldiers have to be identified and called out as well. Just because you're being used doesn't give you a pass. This is true. This is true. I mean, when they did the Nuremberg trials, sure, there was a lot of people complicit in the genocide of Jewish people in Germany. And well, they had to pay for their crimes at some point. And hopefully the Israeli IDF will have to do the same thing in this whole thing too. In the United States also, there's people that are bootlicking MAGA and they're ICE agents and they're abusing people in different ways. Man, hopefully receipts are being kept and we can come back around and say hi to all this. But if they're going to treat it like January the 6th, no justice is involved in the United States at this point. The Statue of Liberty has a tear coming down its eye because it can see just how corrupt and messed up democracy has become in the United States. It's sad, man. It is sad. It is sad. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Power the people. Be with the people. If you're a bootlicker for the rich to help them as a foot soldier or ground soldier, as an everyday citizen, fuck you. You're a class turncoat and traitor is what I say to you. That's right. Cool Cat's saying the 4 names, and I will include Vince just because he inspired a lot of ballers and forgive his youth for his silliness. The 4 names, you say your 4 names are, oh, you didn't put them in. So you're going to put Vince in the top 4. I bet you put him in for Fred. I bet you she does Kyle, DeMar, Vince, and Pascal list as her top 4 Raptors all time. I'll bet you she takes Fred out and puts Vince in. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have our own top 4s and opinions. And a lot of people would put Vince Carter in their top 4 Raptors of all time. I'm okay with him, but I'm not putting him in my top 4. No, I'm not. He's not a champion. And in some ways, he didn't excel at the highest level with the Raptors like those other 4 guys did. DeMar DeRozan is not a champion either. But DeMar DeRozan put in 9 years of certain things and building the team up in the playoffs. He got way further than you in the playoffs with the Raptors, Vince. He did. He got the Eastern Conference Finals. And you couldn't get past the second round. So that's part of it right there. That's part of it right there. Cool Cat saying, Ghislaine Maxwell is a convicted felon. She should not be in that new jail. She needs to return to her former jail. Disgusting. Support children and most vulnerable amongst us should be a priority. Yes, yes, and yes. When you have good leadership and people that actually have the right mentalities and the right values, that's what you get. But, we don't have that right now. We do not have that right now. We have deplorables, egotists, narcissists, wannabe dictator in charge. And that sets the tone right from the top. And disgusting behavior is influenced by leadership. So bad leader, bad people being led by him and acting even more awful because of that. The prison that she was in Tallahassee was not a very bad prison either. It's a very much a country club kind of minimum security prison. I know. I drove by it every day on my way to high school. The one that Maxwell was in originally in Tallahassee, on the east side of Tallahassee off Capitol Circle, FCI. Yeah, it's in a park called Tom Brown Park, And I used to drive by that jail every single day to go to school when I was in high school in the 90s. And that prison has changed over time. They've made it a lot nicer and more fancy. And it's not a high security, high risk prison. It's a very low security, minimum risk with a lot of white collar criminals. And a lot of women actually are in there. So the prison that she was in, the one she's in Texas, is absolutely like a spa, apparently. But the one she was in Tallahassee, let's not get it twisted. It was not a tough prison to be in either. She was in a nice prison from the start. So, but I agree with you. She should be doing hard time, just like any person that got in trouble, like common people. And she shouldn't have a gilded cage that she sits in. Definitely not, especially for her crimes. Especially for her crimes. Mo's saying this right now. She's giving me my cutoff, and I appreciate it. W stream, W vibes, go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Freak Crew strong forever. Just helping me limit the comments. I appreciate you, Monique, so much. I'm talking about going to a 905 game in November, and I'd like you to come with me. College Park Skyhawks. It's a Sunday. I believe it's the 6th of November. That may be the next Raptor Freak hangout. We'll do it just like we did last December when we went to Westchester Knicks, Mo. The game is at 2 p.m. in the afternoon on a Sunday. And that's a perfect time for us to get out to Mississauga and get home from all the different places we drive from to get there. So you guys mark your calendar right now. The next Raptor Freak hangout is going to be probably that College Park Skyhawks game in early November on a Sunday afternoon. So yeah, Mo, just so you can get some early planning, if you're interested in coming to 905 again with me, that's when I think we'll go, is that game to start. And there may be other games during the season too, if it goes really well. Isaac saying Stephen A. Smith defending the billionaire owner and blaming a guy not even in the league. Uncle Dennis is wild. I wouldn't vote for Stephen A. Smith in a billion bootlicking years. Owner class bullshit. Yeah. Yeah, Stephen A., man, you used to be kind of a maverick. You used to be kind of a outspoken, kind of a loose cannon guy. But, man, it's obvious that you're a company corporate guy that has no balls. Seriously. It used to be your whole persona was, I'll say the things they don't want me to say. Well, it's obvious that you're not that anymore, and you're a scared person that watches what you say. You know, in some ways, maybe I should watch what I should say so much because of this world that's dawning on us now. But fuck that. I'm more of a brave person than Stephen A. Smith. Fuck that. I'm not kissing their ass. And if I have things to say about Ed Rogers, Donald Trump, I will. I will say that shit. I will say that shit. Yeah, Cool Cat saying after Stephen A. got fired years ago when he was rehired, he said he understands his job and responsibility is to be company first and their bottom line. There you go. That's selling out. That's the epitome of selling out. That's why in some ways, man, that's why I didn't want to monetize my channel and get all the subscriptions in the world. Because in some ways you compromise your integrity and who you are by selling out. And I can't do that. It's too important for me to do this than the money. Seriously, that's crazy. In some ways, people will say, you're crazy, Lex. You're on here down talking Israel. You're down talking Trump. In some ways, you make yourself a target in some ways because people out there are punitive against people like you. But you're not even doing this for money? Yeah, because I'm doing this for the right reasons. Because I feel like freedom of speech is important and the truth matters. And people like Stephen A., if they want to kowtow to the status quo that they want to portray through the mainstream media, well, that's just an example of another sellout. That's just another person that's been compromised that used to be a voice of truth and reason. And that's sad. That's sad. I mean, Cool Cat's right. It was because he got fired and he came back and he had to kiss ass to come back. That's probably what it is right there. Monique saying, Vince Carter, I hope you just saw what Dr. Pascal just did, graduate during the offseason. I love that. I love that. That's what I said too. I was like, Vince, I hope you just seen that Pascal graduated way in the offseason. I'm going to give Mo a huge dunk right here. She's at 96 on the dunk charts. Yeah, I love that she just said that because that's kind of my joke too. Is like Siakam showing Vince how to graduate correctly. It's so good, man. It's so good. Cool Cat saying, I don't bother with all the ESPN. Dr. Siakam will be a Hall of Famer upon career completion. I agree with you. He has accomplished a lot after coming to the U.S. age 18 to learn how to play ball properly. It's going to take a very long time to repair the U.S. Yeah, it is. In some ways, who knows? You know, everything's happening so fast. You know, you may be shocked. You know, turn of events and really pivotal events can happen, and they really sway public opinion. They really sway the motivations of the masses. And, you know, things like George Floyd shows that. There can be incidents that people are kind of like, that's enough, and we're standing up. And people are doing that right now. In some ways, they want to tire them out because they want to give so much on the plate of bullshit. They're like, oh, where do we even start? That's part of their design, of their flurry of bullshit with Project 2025, is they want to make people feel helpless. Now, we still have the power. And there's different people in different areas that are keeping track, trust me, whether it's the park rangers, whether it's the CDC, whether it's the IRS, whether it's Harvard, whether it's whoever, they're all keeping track in their own specialized areas of the bullshit that's happening right now. And hopefully they can get a better president at some point in the United States, especially if it's a person that's more left leaning, that they can fix a lot of this stuff. Because once again, a lot of the stuff that's happening right now is executive orders. They're easy to rescind. A lot of what Biden did, Trump came in and immediately rescinded it and put his own executive orders out. All those executive orders that Trump did can easily be erased and put away as soon as somebody else comes in. In fact, Biden did that after he took office after Trump and his bullshit the first time. And, the stuff that he's doing right now that's unconstitutional is actually might come back and bite him in the ass at some point. I mean, he really does feel like he's Teflon, that he can't get in trouble for anything. But there's so much evidence of unconstitutional behavior by him, whether it's deploying the National Guard in cities, that's unconstitutional. And it's been ruled by a judge for that. So in some ways, we get another president come in who respects the Constitution and actually follows the rules. That'll change things. And in some ways, they've seen that they need to safeguard democracy in the United States from idiots like Donald Trump. And they may go further with changing some of the laws. So some of the things that Trump did cannot be repeated. He's a stress test on democracy. And in some ways, he's really stressing democracy out to be almost a dictatorship right now. But if people value the system of the United States, they value the democracy that it's supposed to be, they will make the rules change when the next people come in. And there may be a lot more stuff that's voted through partisan wise in the government in the United States. They have to reject all the MAGA candidates. They have to clear house of all these loyalists and all these fuck faces and all the elections. They need to win in New York. Zoran needs to win. And other people like him need to win in all kinds of other places. Grassroots people that are not necessarily connected to either the Republicans or the Democrats. They just got to be grassroots people. They're good leaders, progressive, and maybe a third party emerging in the United States, just like it happened in Mexico. And that could be a huge thing to help things. We just got to keep aiming for good things happening and praying and hoping for them. And if the opportunities for us individually in different positions and places to benefit and progress, good things happening, they will do it. Even if it's a little slight resistance move that we don't even see. Some people saying the U.S. aren't doing anything about this. That's bullshit. There's tons of people doing things in little ways that are not being talked about to help in this fight against MAGA and Project 2025. They want everybody to think it's hopeless, that is nothing we can do. But there are so many people doing stuff, and you'd be shocked just how much they're fighting, and they're doing a good job because they don't want to portray this in the mass media. Once again, it is not in the interest of the corporate mass media to empower us to feel like we have power and able to do things and actions that will change things. They want us to all feel and just be into beer and football and sports and distracted with celebrity news. But when we're actually paying attention and we are doing things right, we can make change happen. But they don't want to empower us, so they won't broadcast our victories. They will, like they said, the revolution will not be televised. They don't want to put it on blast because it empowers people to go and mimic it in other places. And that's why we all got to understand the reality is we have a lot of power, and they're not telling us that. They're not telling us that. They want us to make it think that we don't. That's right. Seymour saying Ron Harper Sr. calling out LeBron James saying you glorifying a bubblegum ring from the bubble. Laugh out loud. I love that. I love that. Ron Harper Jr. a badass. I love Dominique Wilkins coming out recently saying that y'all are idiots who think that Larry Bird couldn't play in the modern NBA. Y'all are idiots. That's what Dominique said. Dominique knows because his biggest rival in the NBA was Larry Bird, and he was the hardest person he had to play. And Dominique Wilkins knows about hard NBA players. You say, Larry Bird's physical. He beat your ass. And this is what JJ Redick said. The coach of the Lakers, an idiot. He said Larry Bird couldn't play in today's league because he's not physically strong enough or quick enough on the league. That's total bullshit. And Dominique Wilkins told me he's an idiot. He basically said, you're a dumbass if you think that Larry Bird couldn't play in the modern day NBA. And he also called out Dennis Rodman for the same shit, saying Dennis Rodman saying that Larry Bird wasn't that good. But he said that when he was playing against them back in the day. So it's nothing new. But Dominique calling out Dennis Rodman and JJ Redick for bullshit about Larry Bird and what they think. And yeah, I love that Ron Harper Sr. is calling out LeBron for his Mickey Mouse Disney ring. That's right. Randolph's here. Blessing, beloved Raptor Freaks family. Life is perfect. Living it is hard. We are imperfect beings called to live this perfect life. Strive for perfection every time by doing your best. Yeah, life is what it is. In some ways, we're just playing the record. And you know what? Let's enjoy the ride. That's what I was saying, man. You know, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the gratitude. Don't be too upset, Dennis. Enjoy the accolades and the things you're doing for Team Germany and in the NBA and different things, man. Just enjoy the ride, man. Seriously. That's right. In some ways, look, that's part of rebellion. They want us to be miserable. Well, in some ways, being joyous, celebrating, dancing, singing, having joy is a very rebellious act. And it's something that has been rebellious by African people that have came to this continent against their own will. Has been a way to fight on the down low. It's like, look, you can bring me here, you can subjugate me, you can do all this fucked up evil shit, but you're not going to take my joy. And my joy is in singing. My joy is in dancing. My joy is in loving. And that's one of the biggest powerful things that we can fight all this darkness with is find your joy and keep it and revel in it. Blessings to Phyllis family and all the Raptor Freak families out there. Randolph, I love you, man. Kareem saying, Lex, what's your stance? People defending their homes during these invasions, them getting charged. This is a very interesting story. What happened in Lindsay in Kawartha Lakes with the crossbow guy coming in the house and the guy beat the shit out of him. You know, I have a really weird opinion on this. In some ways, you know, look, right-wing stance is get everybody get guns and defend your house. And in some ways, that's where I grew up in Florida. Stand your ground law is like, you step on my property, I have the right to shoot you. In Florida, you can do that and legally get away with it. This guy just put his toe on my foot on the lawn. Bam, I shot him. He's dead. Well, he was on my lawn, Judge. Yep, he's right. He was on his lawn. Do. But here in Canada, you got to have justifiable force. You can't go overboard and just beat the shit out of somebody or just shoot them because they stepped on your lawn like you can in Florida. And I'm used to Florida because I grew up down there. And in some ways, when I found out recently, earlier this year, that you can't defend yourself on your property here in Canada, I thought it was kind of bullshit. I'm not gonna lie. I think this might change a little bit. In some ways, it's like, look, we live in a civilized country, and most of us are able to keep our doors unlocked and feel safe. Most of us are able to be out in public and not worry about a mass shooting like in the States. I feel like if we get on a slippery slope with things with guns and home protection, we could get in trouble. But let's not get it twisted, too. I live out here in the country, in the Greenbelt, and most of my neighbors around me have firearms, but they're responsible firearm owners. And I have no problem with my neighbors having firearms. In fact, if some crazy shit happens, I'll be very glad that they have firearms. But at the same token, it's like, I get it. Maybe some of the laws need to be changed about defending your house. Because I feel like in some ways, I know they're defending the perpetrator that's coming in. It's like, if you beat the shit out of the guy, you get a charge too. This man came into his house and he was just defending his house. What's wrong with that? And I get that. In some ways, I can be on that side with people and say, no, he should have the right to defend his house against an intruder, especially somebody who's known, who's fucked with him from before. That's the story in this story. The guy with the crossbow knew the guy whose house he's breaking into. They had a history. And well, why the fuck was he coming into somebody's house with a crossbow? He deserved to get his ass beat, in my opinion. But they charged the guy for beating the shit out of him too much and gave him an assault charge. In some ways, I'm totally with a lot of people saying this guy should not be charged. If that guy is dumb enough to come on your property and do that shit, if you want to defend yourself, look, as long as you're not maiming or killing somebody, you know, if you can subdue them, if you can knock them the fuck out, you know, you should have that right, because you should have the right to defend your house and your family and yourself. And that's what I believe. You know, it's weird because like I was looking at the laws and stuff and they're saying you can use weapons of the moment is what they call it. It's like, you know, if you shoot somebody on your property here in Canada, you could get a murder charge, which is kind of crazy. So I don't know. I think they should change the rules, but they don't need to be like the states fully. I think there's a middle ground between the state's lawless, crazy Wild West bullshit that I grew up in Florida and what we have right now that protects criminals to a degree. There's got to be somewhere in the middle. That's the way I feel about it right there. That's a good question, Kareem. And this has definitely been something I've been talking about with people and paying attention to this story, especially since Lindsay's not that far from my house. It's not that far from where I live. Let's see. Not that that matters. Cool Cat saying, Lex, I should be clear. I agree with your 4 names as top Raptors, and I will add Vince as the 5th. There you go. That's what you mean. So you like Fred too. You're not kicking Fred out for Vince. Just you're adding a 5th player, and it's Vince. You know what? I might get behind that too. If the 5th greatest Raptor of all time is Vince Carter on my list, I can live with that. You know, I can live with that. I think Kawhi's jumped down a few spots now. He just recently he's dropped down. Kareem saying, I'm always on edge with hang on, let me read this. With the topic of Vince and his tier in Raptors history. I hated his actions, but when you look at the way he's inspired a whole generation of youth in Canada, it's unmeasurable. That's why I'll give him top 5, but I don't want to put him above those other 4 guys. Those other 4 guys are good character, good standing, and they really represent us right. They really do. Kyle, DeMar, Fred, Pascal, these guys represent us right. And in some ways, they have the accolades and the resumes that deserve to be the top 4 greatest Raptors. Sure, Vince and Kawhi have great accolades, but they don't have that combination. I mean, I could dust off the old spreadsheet I used to have, my Raptors GROAT rankings. Remember, I was talking about that all the time. I have not updated in a long time. I should go maybe revisit it and do a revisit. Since I have a month of content to do, I could do an updated GROAT standings, and I'll even factor in Kawhi's latest bullshit. I'll factor that in. That's right. He jumped over a giant. Yeah, that's right. He jumped over that Frenchman named Vince Carter in 2000 in Sydney. That's right. Let's see. Kareem saying that poor Frenchman, even that dunk catapulted a new French Revolution. They want payback, and they've taken over European basketball. That's funny. That's funny. I think I'm going to give Kareem a dunk for that. He's saying that Vince Carter's dunk on Frederick Weiss is the reason why we have all these crazy-ass French players coming in the league now, is because they wanted revenge for Vince. Well, Vince stuck around the league a long time, French guys, and some of y'all got to play him, Batum, but some of y'all didn't because he just took off. Alex Sarr and Ricochet or whatever, Ricochet. All right, let's keep going. Seymour saying France might be more of a problem than America in the future for basketball. Canada and France are the powerhouses going forward. Yeah, it does seem like that. I mean, people are wondering what's in the water in Quebec and in France. Is there something in the water for French people? Like, seriously, French-speaking people are getting taller every day. They're getting like 7'9". I don't get this, man. Noah Sengay, all these guys, these French guys, Jean Benger. These guys are big guys. A lot of these French guys and the Canadian guys are too. And I'm not going to disagree with Kareem. The 2 hot spots are going to be very good for basketball are Canada and France. France has always been there for a bit. You know, Africa, those teams are coming up too. Let's not get it twisted. They're coming up. That's right. Let's see. Spain is declining. Spain is super young. You know, the fact that they didn't make the round for Eurobasket is telling, but they're super young. That's why. You know, watching them play against Georgia and lose to Sandro and them last week, I realized that they don't have good leadership on that team at this point. That the very good leaders of Calderon and Gasals and you know, they're just not good enough. Hernan Gomez brothers are not carrying the leadership for Team Spain correctly. They're not the right type of players to lead that team like Rudy Fernandez or Jose Calderon before. And that's why they're kind of in disarray. There's a younger generation of Spanish stars that aren't that good, honestly. They're really not that good. It's very, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. That's right. Wayne's saying 31 days is a short timeline. Canada is a blessed space on this planet. Hoping I can make that 905 game. Cool. That'd be awesome. The system is built to solve crime and not prevent crime. One must be able to defend your home. I agree with that. You know, I thought about buying a gun, seriously, but I looked at all the hoops and different things to do to get that, and I'm like, man, it might be less help in some ways. In some ways, I want Kevin McAllister in my house and Home Alone this shit. And I have booby traps here. So, there's different ways to defend your place. That's right. Adriana's here. People need to be able to protect themselves. My grandma used to carry a knife in her purse. I once came late to the house. It was scary. She had her knife out. Adriana, that's such a wild story right there. In some ways, thank you for sharing. I have not heard that story before. And that's pretty interesting. 130 on the dunk charts for Adriana. Sharing the story of her grandma packing a knife. And she had it out when Adriana came home late. That's right. That's crazy. That's crazy. Damn, grandma's standing on her business. Salute. That's right. Yeah, don't mess with Baba. Baba will mess you up. I'm not lying, man. All right, the straight goods on Canadian goods. Guys, we're going back to one that I really love and I eat all the time. I have like 4 bags of it in my kitchen. It's Covered Bridge, guys. Covered Bridge potato chips have been a godsend. I love potato chips, but I don't want to support Frito-Lay. I don't want to support American corporations that sell potato chips up here like Ruffles and Tostitos. Fuck that shit. Get Covered Bridge. Covered Bridge is 100% Canadian owned and operated with local potato sourcing and manufacturing. Covered Bridge has organic line also if you're into organic chips, but the quality is very high. My parents are up here visiting from Georgia, Atlanta right now. And one thing my mom said as soon as she got up here to Canada is the food is better up here. It's just true. We have better food regulations, especially now that they probably got rid of all the FDA people and they got crazy people like RFK running shit. Well, the food up here is much more protective from bad shit from being in it. And in some ways, the quality of the food is better up here in Canada and you can taste it. So I say buy Covered Bridge potato chips. They got all the flavors. You want all dressed. You want sour cream and onion. You want a barbecue. You want a cheesy one. You want a dill. They got them all. Ketchup. Covered Bridge at your grocery store. If you're going to buy snack chips and you're going to eat potato chips in the first place, buy it from Covered Bridge. I'm telling you right now, they're out of New Brunswick and it's totally Canadian potato chips. And you're supporting Canada jobs, more Covered Bridge employees because people are buying Covered Bridge and turning their back on Frito-Lay. That's what you should be doing right there. That's your straight goods on Canadian goods right there. Covered Bridge. Yeah. Adriana said, never mess with Baba. Never mess with Baba. That's right. Don't mess with Baba. Trust us. Don't mess with Baba. All right. Let me keep going on my tabs. I did that. Let's see. Raptors Reddit. I did kind of look at that already. All right, we got a birthday today, a couple of birthdays. Happy birthday to Davion Mitchell, guys. It's Davion Mitchell's 27th birthday today. Raptor last year for half a season. Davion Mitchell, thank you for coming through 45. You're Heat Culture down there with Norman now, and we appreciate you, Davion. So good job being a Raptor for a little while. You're going to be a historic half-season Raptor, just like Dennis Schroeder, and you have a place in our hearts. Seriously. Also, happy birthday to Justin Dentman, who's a former Raptor who played for our team in a weird time, 2011, 2012, very early DeMar years before Kyle. He played 4 games for us. Justin Dentman. Justin Dentman is turning 40 today, and he's from Illinois, 6-foot guard. Yeah, he's currently playing in the LNBP, which is the Spanish league. So he plays in the Spanish league right now. Justin Dentman, happy birthday. 40th birthday. See, we're going to cover everybody here, even the really bit Raptors. We don't forget about y'all. Justin Dentman. That's right. Has anybody ever heard the name Justin Dentman before or knew that was a Raptors player? Yeah. That's what we're talking about on the Raptors Freak channel. We got all them covered right here, including Justin Dentman. That's right. Let's see. Somebody posting stuff in here. There's an interview with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on Jimmy Fallon. Fiercey is posted in our Discord. Very, very interesting. All right, we have 2 classic cards to do today because yesterday got cut short and I didn't get the classic card yesterday. So let's do 2 classic cards. We get 2 today. So let's see where the first one's coming from. Man, this box is too full. I need to lower this box and make it not so full because it's just too full. All right, let's do this one first. The first classic card of the day. Full name answer, please. Do not half-ass this. Full name answer. Who's that? Full name answer, first and last name, please. On the first classic card, guys, I'll put this up real close. That's an easy one, honestly. You can get this one. It's pretty easy. If you don't know who that is, come on now. Come on, you need to know your NBA history. If you don't know who this player is, first and last name, please make sure you're live on the chat so that you can see it when it comes out. Nobody wants to guess this yet? Has nobody written it in? Nobody wrote it in yet. All right, that's not. This is one that I think everybody would get. Steve Kerr. Come on, Kaz. No, that's not Steve Kerr. That's not Jim Paxson either, Reggie. That is not Jim Paxson. Jim Paxson played for the Celtics, and that is this guy's brother. Cool Cat saying, Lex, I think YouTube ought to block 2 of my postings probably because of some keywords I used. Oops. Yeah, it wasn't YouTube. It was me because I have keywords that aren't allowed to be used, and you might have used one of them. So if you get blocked, don't assume it's YouTube. It's actually me because I put in certain words that we don't want in here. And yeah, that's why some people would say that. John Paxson's right. You didn't even spell his name right, but that's okay. You missed an H. But yeah, Isaac got it. Is John Paxson. Jim Paxson's a different person. That's the older brother of John Paxson. Jim Paxson was on the Celtics and other teams. But John Paxson, he was an important Chicago Bull during their first three-peat. And then he went into the front office. And I think he's still working for the Bulls at some level in the front office. University of Notre Dame. John Paxson. I'm going to give Isaac 100 points for that one. 100 points for John Paxson. And we got the second classic card coming up very shortly, guys. So be ready. Let me just type in the information here. 100 points for Isaac. I might need to go and add some points to Smooth from yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't remember. I think I gave him his points. I probably did. All right, let's see. And I'll be able to check if I did or not. So don't worry. Let's see. Come on. Give me. There's too many cards in here. They're too stuck together. All right, I'm pulling this one out. Okay, we'll do this one too. All right, these are definitely classic cards today. Old school players. All right, wait, let me get the so I can see what I'm holding on the screen. All right, here you go. Classic card of the day, guys. This one, look at that. Oh, I see the mailman in the background there. And that looks like Haywood Workman. No, that's Tank Thompson. That's Tank Thompson, the Pacers player. Who's the other player? The main player on this card. That is the next classic card of the day. This guy's pretty well known. He's been around the league. He's still around the league right now. He's a coach. So, yeah. Which guy is this? Full name answer on the second classic card of the day. You can see Karl Malone back there. Old goofy ass Karl Malone. And LaSalle Tank Thompson back there with Carl. I'm going to identify the other guys in the card, but y'all won't identify the main guy right in the front? Uncle Dennis? You think that's Uncle Dennis? That's kind of a funny joke, Isaac. Uncle Dennis didn't play no basketball. Come on now. If he did, it was in the backyard on a court. I don't know if he played any level. He might have played at some level, maybe. I doubt it, though. Uncle Dennis is a problem. Come on, y'all. Y'all know who this is. Come on. This player right up front. Yeah. Antio? Who's Antio? Antoine Carr. That's a good guess. It's a good guess. It's wrong. It's not Antoine Carr. It's wrong. Yeah, nobody remembers this player. This is weird, man. I'll put it on the back. Just make sure you don't show his name somehow. Actually, I can't. The back has too many places where his name is. Yeah, come on, y'all. Right up in your face. This guy is still in the league. He's an assistant coach in the league to this day. Y'all should know who this is. Where's Reggie? Reggie, you know who this is. Just get it. Come on, Smooth Brown man. You know who this is. What are you doing, man? Slugged easy. Come on. Somebody knows who this is. I'm already over 2 hours. Y'all dragging my stream out. I hate when you guys don't get this right away. All right, he's on a coaching staff already. And he's still, I think he's on the Jazz coaching staff, actually, still. Let me see. What kind of his last name is a star from the TV show LA Law. His last name. And his first name is a character that was done by Dave Chappelle that scratched himself. There you go. It's the character by Dave Chappelle that scratched himself is his first name. And his last name is an actor who starred in LA Law. Jeff Malone's not right. Jeff Malone don't look like this, man. Tyrone Corbin, of course. Tyrone Biggins, Dave Chappelle. Yeah. And Corbin Burnson of LA Law. Tyrone Corbin is the card. Oh, my gosh. Why did that take so long? Seriously, guys. Come on. He's a very recognizable classic card for sure. Tyrone Corbin, Utah Jazz. All right, so Isaac's getting both of the classic cards today, and I'll only give him 100 for both. He gets 100 for each one. So Tyrone Corbin, Isaac Campbell, getting the card of the day. Let's see. All right, they'll finish up. All right, do I have anything else on the tabs I want to talk about? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that's everything. I think I got everything today. We talked about Evan Gilliard. We talked about hello and welcome. We talked about Sandro Mamu. Yeah, we talked about Siakam. That's right. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream today. I appreciate everybody. Tomorrow we're doing a Share the Love Club for a classic Jurassic Raptor. It's his birthday tomorrow. So yeah, come on in and let's celebrate and share the love for the clothes horse that is Kevin Willis. So yeah, we're gonna do a Kevin Willis Share the Love Club tomorrow. Celebration. It was the 30th anniversary of the Raptors. Well, we're digging way back, and we're gonna say happy birthday to Kevin Willis tomorrow on his birthday for the Share the Love Club. So be ready to celebrate a classic Raptor from the Vince Carter days. Old 42, Kevin Willis. That's right, Big Kevin. That's right, Big Kev. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody. Have a great Thursday. Oh, wait, it's Friday. Have a great Friday, TGIF, and have a great afternoon. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Tempo. Let's go Team Canada basketball.